Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? What's going on with you? Make sure you guys hit that like button if you haven't already. We're going to talk about this week three in college football. We're going to talk about Miami versus Michigan State. We're going to talk a little bit, Warren Sapp, the situation. And shout out to Hurricane Logan. He sent me this shirt, U Football. And on the back, it got my name on it. So shout out to Hurricane Logan. Appreciate that, my brother. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into it today. We're gonna talk about a few things. I'm gonna put the link in the chat as always, a little bit more further in the show, so you guys can come in, give your thoughts and opinions, concerns, anything like that. Um, Somebody said the audio is muffled. Let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me clearly. I see somebody said that the audio muffled. So let me know if you guys can hear me clearly or not. He said, that Seminole therapy video had me dying TTY laugh out loud. I almost lost it when you walked in the door with a bottle and stumbled back. Yeah, appreciate that, man. Sometimes I try to be creative on the channel, do some things to make you guys laugh, post some videos, whether it's clowning Florida State or just, playing around or whatever. Appreciate that. Um, Shout out to Seminole Power. The Florida State T-shirt that I wore in that video was sent to me by a guy. I don't even know him, but Seminole Power. Basically, I made a bet with Florida State fans that if they beat Miami this season, I will change the name of my channel for 1 week to Seminole T2Y, and then I would have to wear a Florida State that Florida State T-shirt. I would have to wear it during the live show for that week. That's if Florida State beat Miami, but we ain't worrying about that. But he thought it would be funny to go ahead and send me the shirt. Well, thank you for sending me the prop for my last video. Anyways, guys, all right, so let's get straight to it. Michigan State. But before we get into Michigan State, let's talk about Warren Sapp. So Crowder, Hackman and Crowder on 560, the Joe Show. It's a segment on Odyssey, podcast or whatever. So they had an interview with Warren Sapp. If you guys watched my last video, then you'll hear some of the things that Warren Sapp was talking about. Now, one of the main topics of that interview was Manny Diaz. Do he believe in Manny Diaz? What do they need to do to turn this program around and get us back to the promised land? And Warren Sapp basically straight up says, in his own words, he don't believe in Manny Diaz. Basically, Manny Diaz is a Cuban that doesn't speak Spanish. He doesn't even know his own identity. So basically saying that Manny don't even know himself, so how is he gonna, give the football team an identity? That's tough. Now, me personally, I don't care whether Manny is Spanish, Asian, or whatever. If he's not winning football games, if he's losing all the time at Miami, he got to go. Plain and simple. If he's doing what he's supposed to do, he's getting us on the right path. Hey, I'm with you. Support all day. But nonetheless, that's Warren Sapp. Warren Sapp said what he said, unapologetic. So, that's tough. Now, he did talk about a few things. They asked him if he was to talk to the football team, basically the defensive line or the offensive line or whatever. What would you tell these kids to help them or prepare them to go into Michigan State, a run heavy team? And he basically told them just to pray because he don't believe that the coaching staff that we have on board will get them prepared for any game, to be honest. So he told the kids to pray. That's tough. He has this feeling about the coaching staff, Manny Diaz, and all of them. So that's tough. He also spoke on. I'm not sure if you guys watch the TV show. I watch it every now and then on Hulu. It's The Rock. It's Dwayne Johnson's TV series, basically. Him telling the story of his upcoming or whatever this and third. So of course, The Rock went to the University of Miami. Of course, we all know Warren Sapp went to the University of Miami. Stories has been told plenty of times that The Rock got his spot taken by Warren Sapp and so forth. So during the show, they had a character to portray Warren Sapp, and Warren Sapp was asked about this, and he said basically Hollywood is fake. All that is fake. They got a scene in the show where they had Warren Sapp in the weight room and stuff like that. Warren Sapp made it very clear that he never went to the weight room. He never did none of that. He said clearly Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Hollywood are lying. Basically, they really don't know him or whatever. So he also said that the pro day he only bench press 16 times. The 225 16 times, and the guys that he was going up against in the draft was benching like 50 something times or whatever, and he like looked at him and told him, "Play now." When you watch the tape of me playing and the other guys playing, who do you want on your football team? Well, according to history, he was right. He went on to the NFL, do great things, Hall of Famer right now. Shout out to Warren Sapp. But at the end of the day, man, he's not a firm believer of what's going on at the University of Miami, so that's tough. But anyways, Michigan State, man, Michigan State. That game will be tomorrow, Miami versus Michigan State at Hard Rock Stadium. That game will be at 12 o'clock noon. So I'm going to go. And now also, if you're watching it on TV, it'll be on ABC. So for those of y'all that can't make it to the stadium, you can also tune in to the game on ABC. You can stream it on whatever app that you use or watch it at home if you're at home. Or you can just go to a bar. I'm pretty sure that game will be on. But let's take a quick look into some of the comparisons between Miami and Michigan State going into this game. So let me pull this up. This visual is coming off ESPN, so they'll have their predictors, they'll have all the stats and everything like that. So let's take a quick look at that. Do a quick, breakdown. All right, so as you guys already know, I already told you, 12 o'clock tomorrow, ABC. Michigan State 2-0 so far. They beat Northwestern and they beat some young state or something like that, some nobody team or whatever. Miami is ranked number 24. Michigan's unranked. Miami's 1-1. Of course, the blowout loss to Alabama and the close victory against App State last week. So ESPN matchup, they do have Miami as the favorite to win this game. Miami is according to ESPN matchup predictor, Miami is 65%, 0.7, call it 66. We're just gonna round up. And Michigan State is a 34% chance of winning this game. So the odds from ESPN Matchmaker is in the favor of the University of Miami. Now comparing so far the quarterbacks, you got Pete Thorne. He's thrown 30 completion out of 43, 465 yards. De'Aaron King, 43 out of 63, 379 yards. The other guy, 5 touchdowns. De'Aaron King, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. That's tough. Now, running backs, the carries are equal. Both running backs for Michigan State and Miami, Cameron Harris, of course, and you got Kenneth Walker for Michigan State. So Kenneth Walker, 30 carries, De'Aaron King, 30 carries. Now, it's a huge difference in touchdowns and yardage. Michigan State running back has 321 yards and 5 touchdowns. Cameron Harris, 128, 1 touchdown. That's tough. So they got us both right now in the quarterback position and at the running back position. But keep in mind the teams that, we played or whatever. No excuse though. We should have ran up the numbers on App State, but nonetheless, wide receivers, they got a guy named Jay Reed. I'm not sure what his first name is. Jaden Reed. So you got Jaden Reed with 9 receptions, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then you have Keyshawn Smith, 8 reception, 110 yards. So in the stat department, Michigan State is taking all three. But nonetheless, let's see here. Now, going into this, if you guys are betting on the game or thinking about, putting a little money on whether it's Miami or Michigan State, they're saying that Miami for the spread of the spread is 6.5. So if Miami win this game by 7 points, they cover the spread. If we win by 2 field goals, which is 6, we don't cover the spread. So when you want to bet, put your money in on it. A lot of you guys may do some sports betting. So 6.5 is the line right now. So over and under 56.5 and going into this game. So if you think it's going to be over 56.5 point score, you might want to go with the over. If you think it's going to be less points than that, might go with the under. That's up to you guys. If you want to bet, bet. If you don't. That's tough. But game stats. So going into this game, Michigan State is averaging 40 points a game. Miami is averaging 19 points a game. So they do have us in that department. Don't you love it when you get calls from Scam Likely? Get off my phone. Anyways, points allowed per game. Michigan is allowing 17.5 points. Miami is allowing an all-time high 33.5 points, mostly from the Alabama game. Alabama put up 44. So that's kind of where that's at. Now, total yards. They also have us in this department. Stats-wise, Michigan State have us in pretty much all of the departments. They put up huge numbers against both teams that they played against. So these stats, I'm just giving it to you so you guys know what it is, but most likely these stats might not mean anything during this game or whatever. But total yards for Michigan State, 553. Miami, 320. Passing yards, they got 254. Miami, 189, all-time low. Rushing yards, so far we got 131. Michigan State, almost 300, 299. Total yards allowed, we're also losing in this department. Michigan State allowed 352 yards. Miami allowed 413 yards. Tough. All right, so as you guys know, this dates back to the last 5 games played, wins and losses. So the last 2 games, of course, Michigan State won, but last year they played their last 2 games. They lost to Ohio State and they lost to Penn State. Ohio State blew them out 52-12, and Penn State also beat them bad, 39-24. And dating back to Miami's last 5 games coming into this season, we lost to Alabama 44-13, and then we beat App State 25-23 in the nail biter. So, like I said, it's the weather. Now, the weather prediction, if you guys, thinking about going to the game, at 12 o'clock in Miami, the stadium is going to be pretty hot. So that might be to the advantage of Miami. We are used to this heat by now. Not quite sure how this is going to affect Michigan State, but I do think it probably will give Miami an advantage. So degrees are set to be around 91 degrees tomorrow. I'm not expecting a packed stadium, but if they were to pack the stadium tomorrow, then it would be about 64, call it 65,000 people. But, we know how that goes. Let me see who all's in the chat right now. Check in. What's going on with your boss? Teacher, what to do? Amigo, what's going on, my friend? 904 Hurricane, what's going on with you? How you doing? What you talking about, Willis? Well, we're talking about Michigan State right now. We're going to get into we're gonna talk about Miami versus Michigan, but then we also gonna get into, the matchups for this weekend. There's a lot of great games gonna be on. Even tonight, there's gonna be a great game between UCF and Louisville, and we're gonna go through some of the ESPN, thoughts and predictions or whatever. But what's going on with you? Lenore's in the building. What's going on with you? Lenore's T2Y, Miami 42, Michigan 24. I hope so. Hope so. Darnell, what's going on with you, boss? He says Warren Sapp must want to be the coach. Laugh out loud. I don't know. I've never heard him say he want to be the coach, but there's a lot of people talking about coaching changes. Getting Manny up out of there and bringing in somebody else. That's the talk. After every loss, we had those talks. Get rid of the coach who we want to bring in, blah blah blah. What's going on with your boss? How you doing? So what's up, T2Y? Then we got another score prediction here. He says Michigan State 27, Miami 21. Hope not, but we'll see. Easy money. So what's up, T2Y? I don't see y'all beating Michigan State. I got a notification. I stopped by to see Miami fans' delusional comments. Bama's going to destroy another Florida team tomorrow. RTR. It's funny that I know what RTR means now. Roll Tide, roll, whatever. Anyways, we'll also talk about that game too, because that's going to be a huge matchup tomorrow. Alabama versus Florida. Which quarterback you going to see for the Florida Gators, whether it's Anthony Richardson or Emory Jones, not Emily Jones, Emory Jones, sorry. I don't know why I keep calling that man Emily Jones. But anyways, he said Old Sparky's going to put it all on. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Keep that same energy tomorrow after we win. You guys saying something wrong with the mic. Let me double check this mic. All right, let me know if you guys can hear me a little bit better now. Let me know in the chat, can you guys hear me a little bit better? I don't know why it keeps switching my mic back and forth, but let me know if you can hear me a little bit better. Say, easy money, you a clown, I could tell by your name. That's tough. Deshardy says it's going to be a close game. I don't care what you say. Hey, I picked a close game. My score prediction for this game is Miami 30, Michigan State 24. I'm predicting a 6-point win for the Miami Hurricanes. That's just my opinion. You guys can have your own score predictions. You guys can put it in the chat. OG Kane, what's going on with your boss? Yeah, I just switched the mic so you guys can let me know in the chat, if the mic sounds better. You said 65K. Yeah, that's the capacity. It's right there on the screen, capacity. So if you want to fill up Hard Rock Stadium, you got to put 65,000 people in there. That's tough. You say he's picking Michigan State to win outright. Well, go ahead and put your money on it and lose. Florida Kane, what's going on with your boss? You say Sapp was probably drunk again. Listen to what Jimmy Johnson and Michael Irvin said about Manny Diaz. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have Kane fans that support Manny, and you're going to have Kane fans that don't support him. At the end of the day, everybody is entitled to their opinions based on what they see and based on their thoughts on, evaluating Manny Diaz. A lot of fans right now, if you gave them the opportunity, they would fire Manny Diaz and bring in whoever they want. Now, there's a lot of names tossed around, like I said, but you got to keep in mind there is a salary issue. That's been a problem at Miami for the last 15 years now. There's a salary issue. Who do you bring in to with? I think Manny Diaz's salary is at 3 million. Most of the top coaches that you guys are naming or putting out there are making 4 million or more. So, which one of these coaches would you want to pay less to come down here? Half the guys that are being named making more than what Manny Diaz is making already. So this job doesn't even sound appeasable to them. And then not on top of that, you got to keep in mind that you also got to hire, you know, positional coaches, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, and those guys. Where do you get the money and resources to pay them if the team does not want to put money into the program? So that's tough. Um, Drunky Steve says he's going with Michigan State. I'm drunk. Yeah, you're definitely drunk for going with Michigan State, but put your money on it and lose it. 207 says bet on Michigan State. I like it. I like it. I like it. We don't now. According to most of you guys, we're the underdogs. I like it. I like it. Y'all keep that same energy and make sure you come back after we win tomorrow. Say Miami was having a hard time with that. Say just imagine what's about to happen with Michigan State. Hey, that's tough. Miami did have a hard time with App State, but you got to keep in mind, football, anything can happen at any given week. So I'm not gonna sit and dwell on what happened with App State. That was last week. We won the game. We moving on. We just gotta basically watch and see what happened this week. You know, will it be the same team that play against Michigan State? I hope. App State. I hope not. I hope these guys come out with a lot of energy, ready to play, have a chip on their shoulder. You know, it's a lot to prove. It's a lot of critics coming in on them. So I hope they get it together and be ready to go tomorrow. I don't think the Canes are going to win tomorrow. From what I've been seeing these past 2 weeks, it's not convincing me. Right. I mean, like I said, it's been a tough 2 weeks, man. First, you know, the blowout, then the close game. You know, it's tough. It's tough. But at the end of the day, 1 week at a time, I'm not saying anything until after the game. I'm not saying anything from what I see. Now, if I watch it the first half and I can see the same mistakes being made, the same play calls, the same execution on offense and defense, then I might have to say, okay, Tito, the calm, collective guy, that's got to go. You got to get into panic mode now because it might be a long season for us. But if you look at Miami from head to toe, Miami is more talented than Michigan State. Miami do have better classes than Michigan State. If you date it going back to maybe 2018 and up, we do have better classes. We are ranked better. We do get better players than Michigan State. So there's no way that they out-talent us. Now, if they out-coach us and go out there with more heart than us, then it might be a total different, outcome. But if we're just basing it on talent, player rankings, and all that, Miami should win this game with ease. Peanut says King ain't it. The past 2 games I've watched King, I saw him make some terrible reads. I didn't think he played up to his ability, but nonetheless, the first game I didn't see him run as much as he did in this past game or whatever. But I do think that King is getting a little bit more comfortable. He's running the ball, but some of those runs, I think he need to, stay in the pocket, maybe roll out a little bit and make some better reads down the field, that kind of thing. And if push comes to shove and then there's no options, then, hey, take off, run. But I do think King need to make some better reads. And I do think Reed Lashley need to call some, different plays, which I do expect him to call different plays because he did say his own kids called him out. All that running up the middle, all that diving up the middle, whatever. So I'm gonna watch the first two half of the first quarter and see if he's living up to what he said. Central coach, what? I don't know. Let me see. Miami could win by 1 point, and I'll be happy. I mean, at the end of the day, a win's a win, but in college football, it's how you win. Because I mean, we could go out there and win by 1 point, and then next thing you know, the rankings come out and Miami's not ranked anymore. Because as you guys can see, when you beat teams, you get the win or whatever. Okay, you get that W in your column, but then when you look at the rankings and everything like that, you see you drop. Miami was 22. They beat App State and they dropped down to 24. There's winning games and then there's winning games convincingly. If you want to move up in the rankings, if you want to, try to compete for better bowl games, for a better finish at the end of the year, then you got to start beating teams and beating them convincingly. You got to give college football, whoever's, running the bowl games and all that stuff like that, you got to give them something to say, hey, they deserve to be in a more high quality game than this team and that team because they beat this team that way and they beat that team that way. If we continue to win games close, then at the end of the year, the conversation is going to be a lot different. We might end up, if we beat all the teams on our schedule convincingly, might not make the playoffs or might not, get into any national championship or whatever, but we could possibly go to a New Year's Six bowl, or if not that, more high quality bowl game. But that's what you want to do if you want your program to move forward. You got to impress the recruits, man. You got to impress them. You got to show some kind of progress year in, year out. We got some more. You say hire central coaching staff with T-Rob cheaper than what we're paying now. Coach Hayes, also I put my money on that staff over this one. Hey, like I said, I don't know what Miami's going to do with coaching, but whatever they does, hey, hey, if it means winning ball games, winning key games like the big teams that we do play against, you mean the Alabamas, the Clemsons, those games, hey, then I'm for it. Bring in whoever. As long as they're going to develop these players, as long as they're going to bring in top recruits, and they're going to, push Miami to the front of college football once again, I'm all for it. Bring in whoever you want. You said Bama win over Miami doesn't really look that good, but Bama destroy elite teams just as bad as Miami Cupcakes. That's tough. Who cares? We don't care about Alabama no more. We don't care about y'all no more. Y'all did what you did. Move on with your life. We don't care about y'all. Miami will bounce back in a close game. King needs to have more confidence in his knees to get the offense going. Right. I think King, like I said, I think King need to make better reads. I think he need to think more pass first than running. I think he need to put some more confidence in some of them running backs. Speaking of running back, as you guys see in the thumbnail, Miami's running back, Cody Brown. Now, Cody Brown transferred in from Tennessee. He will be backing up Cameron Harris. He will be running back number 2. Now, Cody Brown, if you've seen his highlights from high school, he's a solid running back. He's solid. You got to go check him out if you haven't seen him. Now, how many snaps, how many reps he's going to get in that game, not quite sure yet, but we will see him. Jalen Knighton is suspended. He has 2 more games of suspension, so we'll see Cody Brown. And as you guys know, unfortunately, Don Chaney Jr. is out for the season. injury plagued, and not quite sure what's going on with Ted Franklin, but they haven't really mentioned him, so we'll see. Miami 31, Michigan State 21. I'll take it. It's a lot better than my prediction. 3 points. Michigan State scored 3 more points on my prediction. So hey, if that's the case, Miami 31, Michigan State 21, I'll take it. I'll be happy with that win. Me personally, I'm hoping that Miami does blow out Michigan State. A lot of the naysayers and a lot of the critics will back off a little bit. You will get blown out again. That's tough. If Miami can't move the ball and play defense for 4 quarters, we'll lose. If we can, then we'll win by 9. Hey, if we can move the ball, play defense for 4th quarter, I think we can win by way more than 9. But it depends on the fight that Michigan State's going to put up, and it depends on, how bad our guys want it. There's plenty of coaches that would like to go to Miami, and they could be great coaches no matter the money. It's picking the right positions and calling the good plays and change players when you need to. Okay, I understand that, but you got to look at the teams that are competing for national championship now. When you look at the Alabama coaching staff, they got NFL guys that's coaching that team, guys that has experience in the NFL, guys, they are paying them. They are paying these guys, and they're looking good. They're winning ball games. They're blowing teams out. They're winning championships. If you have a team like Miami where all the coaching staffs are basically first time in their position, or lack of experience, then it's going to be tough to compete with those guys. And think about it from a recruiting standpoint. If I got an NFL coaching staff and I'm talking to a 5-star recruit and I say, hey, I got this guy, that guy, that guy. He's been on the NFL level. He knows what the NFL is looking for. He knows what techniques and whatever it is for you to teach you to get you to that level, where now you have a team that has none of that kind of experience on there. It's tougher for that kid to choose your team than to go to the one with NFL experience, because it's a brighter future for them if they do get that experience from those NFL type coaches. So it's a disadvantage already. So like I said, you got to go with the times. If you got the teams that are winning championship that's full of NFL talent type coaches, you gotta go with the times. You got to step it up. It's just like having the facilities and so forth. If you have those old facilities, all your weight rooms and everything in there is rusty, versus a team that has an updated facility, you name it, it's a disadvantage. You gotta get up. You gotta get up with the time. You gotta come up time. That's plain and simple. Coaching, facilities, all that good stuff. Kane Juice 305 just became a member of the channel. Appreciate that, Kane Juice. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. And this one's for you. Appreciate you, boss, for becoming a member of the channel. For those of you guys wants to know that how to become a member of the channel, basically everybody that's a member of the channel, every 3 months we do a drawing. I put your names in a roulette kind of spinner or whatever, and whoever it lands on, I buy something from Caneswear and I ship it to you. It's basically saying thank you for supporting the channel. All the membership, any dollar that's made from the membership goes right back in the channel. I don't make no money from that. That's just, appreciate anybody that support the channel by becoming a member. Also, you do get special emojis. So if you become a member of the channel, please check out the emojis, use them. It's different Miami Hurricane type emojis. So please take advantage of that. So when you're in the chat, you can use those emojis. Appreciate you, King Juice 305, for becoming a member of the channel. Cam 23 says King garbage, sit him down. Now I don't support calling any of the kids garbage or trash or anything like that. They just, to me, if they're not living up to the hype or living up to whatever expectations that are set for them, then maybe we need to go to another guy. But I don't believe in calling them trash or you know garbage or anything like that. But that's just me. You guys are entitled to your own opinion. You say King should. The transfer portal gives the senior another shot, another year, shook up college football. Teams that weren't so good are able to compete now. Yeah, I mean, App State is a perfect example. Some of the guys that probably would have left for them, or even Miami, of course, they're still here. Now, for some teams, that's a good and a bad. For us, I look at it both ways, as good and as bad, because at the end of the day, some of those seniors that would have left would have gave some of the younger guys some more time to develop, and our team could move forward with these younger guys towards the future. Because we do have some top classes that came in 2021, 2020, and even 2019. So I would love to see those guys start, developing, start getting some snaps. So maybe 2022, 2023 we'll have those guys competing at a higher level. But right now we got the experience from the older guys, but it kind of set back the younger guys, if you get what I'm saying. Lakers all day say, I want to see Jake. Trust me, Lakers all day, you are not the only one. I want to see Jake Garcia as soon as possible. I don't have an issue with King, but I do think that Jake Garcia is the future of this program. I do think he's the best quarterback that we have on this roster at this moment. I do believe that given the opportunity, he could be he could be a true freshman for the University of Miami. I think this kid, skill set, talent is all natural, and it's something that right now Miami is being held back, to be honest. I do believe that, certain kids you can look at and tell that they have a different talents. They got a different I can't put the word on it right now, but you could tell that they're different. You could set them apart from the rest. I think Garcia is that natural talent. The way he came into the spring game, the way he handled himself, this kid looked like he's been in this program way more than just the time that he's been here already. He's quick ability to learn the playbook, to timing, everything like that. His passes are on time. He's not just a run-heavy quarterback. He's more of a pocket present. And if we need him to take off, he take off. That's what I see from him. I do believe that kid is the future of the program. If you go back and look at the Patriots when they had Tom Brady in there, when they had Tom Brady sitting behind, I think the guy was Blixo, if I'm not mistaken. Tom Brady was ready to go. Belichick didn't pull that trigger on Blixo, and then when he finally did, you seen what happened with Tom Brady. I'm not saying that it would be the same thing, but I do believe in my mind and heart that Garcia is our Tom Brady. That's tough. Now, there's some key things that need to happen, though. That line need to protect him. That line need to give him time to be efficient. But that's just my thought and opinion. You guys are entitled to your own. Just call run plays, pass plays, give the RPO a rest for a bit. I agree with you. When you put the decision in De'Aaron King's hand, lately he hasn't been making the best decisions, but I agree with you, OG. All right, so the chat's jumping. I'm going to put the link in the chat for you guys. Come in, give your thoughts and opinion, what you guys are expecting tomorrow. Also, I want to know your keys to victory. defensive and offensively. Shout out to Storm Warning last night. Me, Coach Hayes, and a couple other guys was on the show with them. Phenomenal job. So for those of you guys that missed that show, I do want to get your thoughts and opinions on it. I do want to get to see what you think the keys to winning this game is. So I'm going to put the link in the chat. You guys could come on in, give your thoughts and opinions. Score predictions also. Okay. All right. So the link's in the chat. Anybody feel free to hit that link. Come on in, give their thoughts and opinions, final thoughts and opinions on this channel at least, because I won't be live until maybe after the game. So you guys can come on in. Last chance, thoughts and opinions, score predictions, keys to victory defensively, offensively. What are you expecting from Reed Lashley? What are you expecting from Manny Diaz's defense this week? So you guys can hit that link. BB the Gator, what's going on? Also, we after we finish talking about Miami versus Michigan State, we'll also pull up the matchups for this week games. As you guys know, like I said, one of the games to pay attention to, Alabama versus Florida. Florida gave Alabama a good game last year. Let's see if Dan Mullen and the Florida Gators improved. Let's see if they can pick a quarterback and stuff like that. Anthony, what's going on with you? Oh man, El Guapo, what's going on with you? El Guapo, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't really like talking to you because you don't have a team. It's a lot easier to talk to somebody with a team, because if you trash talk my team, then I could just trash talk yours back and we could go back and forth like that. But when you don't have a team, it's kind of pointless, man. But anyways, what's going on with you, boss?
Well, let me start, set the record straight, because there's a lot of ideas and misnomers about El Guapo, about his teams. You thought that I was a Gator fan, which makes me laugh. El Guapo went to the University of Miami in 1990.
Okay.
El Guapo used to love Miami,
Okay.
but it's like when you had a relationship with a woman and you was either married or it was a bad relationship. The relationship ends and you see the girl start acting weird and doing things you don't like. You have to leave her alone. So after, let's say, Coker getting blown out by LSU in that Peach Bowl, I seen the direction of Miami. I seen Shannon trying to rebuild it and it didn't work. And they can blame Nevin Shapiro all they want. And then you brought in Golden, who was a car salesman from Temple. And then you brought in the pastor, Rick, which I'm thinking, this ain't gonna work either. But then you had a chance. There was a light at the end of the tunnel when Rick sat down and said, "I'm done," and you could have had a real coaching search. And the names on my list, and I don't care what anybody says, was Lane Kiffin and Mike Leach. You bring Lane Kiffin into Miami, wide open offense. Anywhere Kiffin's went except for Tennessee and USC, look what he's done. He puts points on the board. Has he ever had a defense? No, but Miami could get a good defensive coordinator. You bring Mike Leach in, you spread the ball around, he puts points up. He's never really had a defense, but he's never had the talent Miami's had either. So what did Miami do? The next day, couple hours, let's call Temple. Can we please have the dictator back? Manny, please come back. What has Manny ever proven? Got fired from Texas, got fired from Mississippi State. So the fans went crazy. Oh, Manny, this. That was to appease the fan base. A cheap hire. Very cheap. $3 million. Didn't want to do a real coaching hire. So now you're stuck with Manny. And the fan base is saying, "Oh, get rid of him." But the point is, you're not going to be able to bring in a good coach for $3 million. But you have all these other YouTubers that think Miami's got all this money. But you know what? They're not putting it in the football program. Not at all. Because you know why? Blake James is okay with how Miami is. You know, they lose 6 games a year, 7 games a year, get blown out in the bowl game. It's okay. Miami ain't never bringing in no top coach in here ever. Ever. It's not happening. So y'all gonna be stuck with being mediocre you for the rest of your lives. Take that U off your helmet, put an M like Michigan for mediocre you. Miami's done. And it's funny to me that every year y'all fans think, oh, Miami could go to the playoffs. Miami could compete. Miami can't even win the ACC. Miami been in the weak ACC forever and ain't never won it. And when they did go to the championship, Clemson bent them over. And another thing, Miami should not be able to play at high noon on ABC ever. Because you know what happens when they play on ABC at 12 o'clock. Can I say North Carolina last year, Clemson 1 year? Miami should just break a contract off of ABC. Miami should be playing on ESPN 8, ESPN Deportes, whatever, but never on ABC because it's a garbage Miami is almost worse than Nebraska and USC. But the thing about USC is they will spend the money for a quality coach. Now, will that coach come in and turn it around? Who knows? But Miami is this. You looking back at the early 2000s team and those 90 teams and the 80s teams, and yes, it was a different kind of player. But now I don't ever see Miami ever getting back to that, ever. And you're going to be stuck with Manny for another at least 2 more years because you fire him, who are you going to bring in? Because it's going to get to a point where the Miami job is not even a job coaches really want, unless you're up and coming a coach or a coach who's a has been who's clinging on, like a Butch Davis. So, yeah, let Manny stay here for a couple more years, and nobody's going to want the job, period.
All
right, so hold on, Anthony. So basically, you sound like, okay, when Miami was up, when Miami was great, you was a happy fan, and then, you know, the downside.
Not a bandwagon. You try to put me in the bandwagon.
No. I'm not putting you in the bandwagon. You said it. You was a Miami Hurricane fan, and lately things been going bad, so you don't really have
not
a team.
Lately. Miami's been horrible since like 04, 05. That's not lately. Lately's 5 years, not 20 years.
Nonetheless, are you still at heart a Miami Hurricane fan?
No. I had to leave them alone. And after I left Miami, I graduated from University of New Mexico, which has had a horrible football program and only known for Brian Urlacher. But I liked Miami in 84 and 85. I grew up with Bernie Kosar and Vinny Testaverde, my quarterback, and Jim Kelly. So I have followed Miami since like 83. But I'm telling you, once the Coker, after that Peach Bowl, Miami has went down since, you want to be honest, I'd say 16 years. And they're not coming back. So people can say, oh, you're fair weather, this and that. 16 years decline is not fair weather. You just like, it's like a divorce. It's time to go. It's time to go.
I have a question.
There you have it, man. That's El Guapo. That's his take. That's his opinion on the Miami Hurricanes. Like he said, he was a fan in the early 80s. Right now, he don't really have any hopes. That's just him. Maybe there's other fans out there that feel the way he feel. I don't feel that way. I go into each season with hope in my team. Now, whether they, live up to it, that's a different story. But nonetheless, we got Manny Diaz. We got to deal with Manny Diaz. If Manny Diaz stays, then, hey, that's what we got. If Manny Diaz we can talk about who's going to bring in, what changes need to be made, and how do we compete. That's all we can do as fans is move forward. So, Anthony, what's going on with you, boss? What's your thoughts and opinion on this Michigan State game coming up?
Honestly,
and actually, before you start, El Guapo, what's your score prediction for this game, and why you think so?
I can't really. It's going to be hard to pick a number on this score, but I think Michigan State, which their whole offense for years have been run, pass when they have to. So they're going to run the ball up the middle 1,000 times until Miami can show they can stop it, which we know they probably can't. And, let's say Michigan State squeaks out a victory 24, Miami 17.
Okay, so you got Michigan State on this one. All
I
right,
mean,
we'll see.
I'm sorry, I have no faith in Miami because Miami hasn't shown me nothing in 16 years. I mean, and I should actually like Manny. He's a fellow Latino, but Manny had no business ever being a head coach. Miami's biggest problem was they should have let Temple have him. They should have, because I guarantee you, if Lane Kiffin would have came in, it's over.
You say Manny is a fellow Latino. Don't ask Warren Sapp that.
Well, I guess Warren's saying just because he doesn't speak Spanish, he is. But Manny's a Cuban, so he's a fellow Latino. But just because he doesn't speak Spanish, I'm not going to knock him. I'm knocking him because he can't coach. That's what I'm knocking him for. I mean, that's the only problem I have with him.
All right, so Anthony, what's going on? What's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, El Wapo, you brought up Blake James specifically. Do you think that's the problem? Like he's more focused on fundraising, but he doesn't funnel it into the right places, like the basketball program or what is it called, or into the football program and stuff for it to be more successful. Who would you bring in as the athletic director? Because Julio Franks seems like two or three of the board of directors want to focus on football, but if it's the athletic director that's causing us from not being as successful as we want to, who would you want to bring in as a AD? Is my question.
I tell you who you need to bring in the AD, but he won't do it. I would have started with I would have begged and pleaded to bring Jimmy Johnson in to head up that program. And I would have brought in some old Canes and had them at certain positions on the team. Like I definitely would have brought in Ed Reed. Now, I'm not saying for Ed Reed to be head coach. I don't know about that. But Ed Reed is a very, very smart player, the best free safety ever in college football, ever in pro. He has knowledge. So I'd have him around the team. I'd have a Michael Irvin around the team.
He is on the team. What do you mean? Ed Reed is on the team.
So,
yeah, but we know that. But a bigger role than he has now, a way bigger role.
All right, so we got Uncle Lou in the chat. He says, I have an update. The U suck again. Well, Lou, make sure you pay attention to South Carolina because they might be the one to upset Georgia. Georgia is on a high right now. They should be doing great things. Hell, they should be playing for the SEC championship against Alabama at the end of the year. But we all know what Georgia does. They get hyped every year, and then they lose the game that they're not supposed to. So worry about South Carolina and them Gamecocks.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo!
Yeah. It's funny you bring up Jimmy, but the problem with Jimmy, I don't think he would want to do something like that because he's already in his mid-70s and stuff like that. And I would say we should look at someone from like one of the assistant ADs from like Ohio State or Alabama or Clemson or one of the guys from LSU or something like that. That's who we should look at. One of the guys who's been an assistant AD for a long time and stuff like that, and promote him to the athletic director. That's what we should do. Not bring in an older guy like Jimmy, which I don't think Jimmy would want to deal with the politics of college football and stuff like that. Do you agree, T2Y? Do you think Jimmy has the patience for something like that? Because that's the reason why he left in the first place and went to the Cowboys, because of dealing with Tad Foote and stuff like that and politics in college athletics.
I mean, at the end of the day, Jimmy is a different situation. Given any college football coach the opportunity to go to the NFL and coach, I would take it. If I'm a coach like Jimmy Johnson was, winning championships, competing year in and year out, and the NFL comes offering me, I would take it. It's nothing against the university. It would hurt my heart to go. But at the end of the day, as a coach, there's a ladder, and you got to climb it. Whether you start at a high
No,
school,
he
you
actually
move up
said
to
it during.
college.
He actually. It's funny you should say that. He actually said in his entrance interview when he first got the job in Dallas, he said he left because of Tad Foot specifically. That's why he left.
Right, but you gotta
He
look
left.
at it
He was.
too. Coaching wise, there's a ladder you're trying to climb. So whether he left for this reason or that reason, you got to think about it nowadays. Like everybody's not the Nick Saban type where you move up and then you say, you know what, it's not for me. I'm going back. I'm going to Alabama. Some of these coaches are using this as a stepping stool, as a ladder. Go to the University of Miami, coach them, bring them up, build a resume for myself, and move on to the NFL. When you put in the amount of time in the NFL as a coach, once you retire, you get paid for the rest of your life. That's the goal. You want to get to that level. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, if we get a coach to come down here and bring Miami back to the front of college football, then when they do move on to the NFL, that's tough, but it's a part of life. Totally not depressed what's going on.
And for me, I think Ed Reed.
What's up, T2Y? I just thought I'd offer my 2 cents to this Miami game.
All right, let Anthony finish. What you said, Anthony?
All right.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say if Manny's not successful, like let's say we're winning close games, we're winning, but it's close games. I asked this on Storm Warning. Are you guys okay with that result? Let's say we go 11-1, but we're winning close games. Are you guys okay with that, or are you pissed?
If we go 11-1, given the state that the program is in right now, winning close games against App State, I will take it. I mean, I would have no choice but to take it. We know what we're getting with Manny Diaz. The first season when we lost games, close games, whether it's 3 to 7 points or whatever, the next season come around, now we're winning those games 3 to 7 points or whatever. So if we go into this season looking as bad as we did the first 2 games and we end up 11-1, as a fan, I'd be happy that we're 11-1. But how did we get to 11-1, winning game by 2-3 points and stuff? I wouldn't be happy because I'd be kind of worried about the state of the program moving forward. Is this the kind of standard that we're setting?
Me, I would stay away from Mike Leach. His offense seems a little bit archaic. Because
you say stay away from Mike Leach, and you say stay away from certain guys like Hugh Freeze and stuff like that. But when the fan base get thirsty and they want to win games, most of the time all that goes out the window.
Yeah,
when the fan base start flying banners and getting the pitchforks and all the fired up fans, whatever, when it comes down to it, they will take anybody other than the person that's in charge right now losing.
Promote if Manny is not successful and we fire him after the second season, why not promote Ed Reed to head coach? Because he's basically on the coaching staff and stuff like that. So why not just promote him to the head coaching position and stuff like that?
Listen, at the end of the day, I don't make the decisions for Miami when it comes to coaching or whatever. The fan base is very divided when it comes to Ed Reed. A lot of fans saying, yes, promote Ed Reed, give him the same opportunity that you gave Manny Diaz. No experience as a head coach. Let him do whatever. Let him bring in whoever he wants to help him coach. I'm hearing that also Ed Reed said the first year he would do it for free. So if that be true and not just a rumor, then who knows? Ed Reed might be the guy to go to. But me personally, I don't make that decision, so I don't know what direction the AD, the program want to go. Where they want to look at Ed Reed as a head coach, or they just want to bypass him and go get somebody else. But that's how they do.
I see the winning this game 27-24.
I say give Manny one more year. Shane says give Manny one more year. Some of the guys saying get rid of Manny right now. So, like I said, the fan base is very divided.
It's funny that he said stay away from the Mike Leaches and the Hugh Freezes because their offense is archaic. But those offenses put up points, and those offenses have put up points like Hugh Freeze, for instance. And I know Miami will never hire him because of what he did at Ole Miss, but he beat Bama. So with that offense. So, but it's not just the offense. Like, I have a problem with Rhett Lashlee because to me, he ain't nothing but little Gus Malzahn 2.0. And if you're going to run that offense here, like everybody talks about that young kid Garcia, he's not going to fit in the Rhett Lashlee's offense. So you need a total different offensive coordinator. I don't like that RPO offense in the first place. I mean, if you've got a Lamar Jackson running, sure, or any kind of athletic, but I've always came from the traditional, the spread quarterback, drop back, spread, put four receivers out there and let them go. I don't like all that running around stuff, but I know how college football has changed. But Rhett Lashlee, he's not the answer either. But then again, that offensive line, I mean, there's so many issues with Miami. It starts from, the administration, then it filters down to coaching, but these kids aren't being developed. But you look at, everybody says Miami has more talent every week versus the teams they play, which they do, but they're not performing. And that means they're not being developed. So that goes back to coaching. So once again, we're right back to where we started, and we keep on bringing in these wrong people because they're right for the money. So until you get new AD that wants to, you have AD like at Bama and Texas and Ohio State and Oregon that really want the football team to succeed, ain't nothing going to change. And it makes me laugh when people think, oh, we want I heard all this stuff about Mario Cristobal. Mario wanted to come here and they laughed at him. No, you're not getting him now. People understand Phil Knight is Nike. He gives Oregon. So Oregon has probably the best locker rooms and the best uniforms in college football by Phil Knight. You think they're going to match Miami's little $3 million? Yes. Miami ain't going to never get nobody as a big head coach because wherever that coach is, that school is going to match them because $3 million ain't nothing. So who's Miami next coach? You know what is going to happen?
And
They're not going to stick it out.
Also, to what you're saying, think about it. The money that Oregon is paying Mario Cristobal, you got to buy out that. And then you got to pay him on top of it.
Yep. And Miami ain't going to do that.
They're not.
Miami's situation.
I have no confidence in the ADs or anybody that make decisions on coaching hire for Miami.
They are stuck with Manny because you have no other option, and they're not going to pick Ed Reed as head coach. And I would like Ed Reed, and like I said, I love Ed Reed. I mean, I like Ed Reed. I like him and Sean Taylor, but I would like for Ed Reed to go up the coaching ranks a little bit, let him be a DB's coach and let him move up before I would just give him the head coaching job, because you know what's going to happen? Miami hires him next year. Miami loses 2 or 3 games, fire Ed Reed. So, and that's
exactly what you just said is what I said.
And then people say, well, we got to let all this turnover doesn't help recruit, so you got to give Manny a chance. But Manny doesn't improve from year to year. He just doesn't. So now you're stuck with a man that stuck in his ways, and I mean, you have trouble against the Appalachian State. Could you imagine that 10 years ago, Miami struggling with an App State? No. Things have changed for the worse. And people can say I'm negative and this and that. I'm realistic. I see it for what I see. If things were all butterflies and buttercups and roses, I would call it. But Miami is not and has not been on the same level as Bama, Clemson, Ohio State for years. And it's all about, look at schools like Ohio State. They recruit nationally. Look at their roster. Those kids are from everywhere. Alabama has for years came down to Florida and stole kids. And I know Miami can't get all the kids out of Florida, but I'm going to tell you what. If I was a receiver in high school out of Miami, would Miami be my first choice? Nope. No stability at quarterback. No way. I mean, it's like Miami used to, what they say, back when Schellenberger was a coach, build a fence. State of Miami. There is no more state of Miami. No. And look at Florida. And Florida State, they're garbage too. And you know what Florida State's going to do? And I have no problem telling prime time, but they're going to hire Deion in about 3 or 4 years. Deion will get that job, and he ain't got no coaching experience other than where he's at now, and that's not going to really help them. But he'll get the recruits. But that's a big splash hire, supposedly. But
I will say for Dion, as an FCS fan, he's actually doing pretty well over Jackson State. He has won his first 2 games. So I'm interested to see how far he can take Jackson State. Obviously, they can't compete for an FCS national championship, but they will. I would guarantee they will make Celebration Bowl within the next year or 2. I will say
the thing about Prime is he brought a lot of money, he brought a lot of sponsorships, he brought a lot of attention over to the SWAC, and a lot of people like that. But it's coaches like the coach at Alabama State, the coach at Alabama A&M. It's coaches that's been there in that conference for years, so they looking at him like fresh meat. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at him like our players are just as talented as yours, and just because your name is Deion Sanders, you got to line up in between the white lines, and that doesn't mean you're gonna beat us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I will say that talent is probably, I'd say 40% of the job. You have to actually coach those players to win. It doesn't matter what division you are. I mean, we clearly saw that last weekend, but that's beside the point.
All right, so you guys, totally not depressing, Sergeant Ayrton. You guys are outsiders. You're not Miami Hurricane fans. Looking into this game, Miami versus App State, as an outsider, Sergeant Ayrton, what do you see going into this game for Miami and for Michigan State?
I see Miami utilizing their speed on the outside, utilizing their receivers. It's just, can their receivers make plays? Can they get in the open field, catch the ball, number one, and break tackles and make big, explosive plays in the passing game. In the running game, I know y'all are down one of y'all best running backs, but there's other guys that got to step up and play. Defensively, if you're Miami, Michigan State is going to take the same formula that North Carolina did. I'm telling y'all, they're gonna line up, spread you out, and hand the ball off to their running backs. Michigan State, they got good running backs. They got a decent offensive line. They'll probably run the ball at least 20 times in the first half, just to test your D-line and your linebackers.
Yeah, and Michigan State is high off of their first 2 wins. I think they're going to come at Miami hard this game. Pretty much the same AR-10 said. They're going to run at Miami. They're going to run at Miami hard. So if Miami can get that defensive line straightened out for this game, I think Miami can hold Michigan State. I personally see this game coming down to maybe within 10 points or so.
Yeah,
but that's
10 points or less. Yeah.
I'd say Michigan State, they're going to speed up the game, so I'd imagine Miami would win. I would say maybe 31-24, one of those like medium to low scoring games. But that's only because Michigan State is just going to speed up the clock by running the ball over and over again.
Okay. Good takes. All right, so the biggest thing on defense for Miami, what do you guys think that'll be?
Stopping the run.
Yeah, stopping the run. Got to get the linebackers and the defensive line all on the same page. Like T2Y, you've been talking about linebackers all offseason, how that was what Miami needed to really make a great defensive team. And I think if Miami can get that like first and that defensive line and that first level at the linebacker, I think they'll be able to stop Michigan State.
Okay. Yeah, I think if we neutralize the running back, then we have a game.
Yeah, I think if you even if you have to load the box and play man on the outside, if you stop the run, then you'll be fine. I think y'all just have like most teams in the freaking Big Ten, they don't have the speed when it comes to matching up against teams like Florida,
Big
Miami.
Ten is straight like offense. That's how it is in the Big Ten.
Yeah, they don't have the speed on defense to match up. So if you can get these guys on the perimeter and just run past them, run those deep crossing routes, digs, deep post, things like that, man, you're gonna have open receivers downfield. Is can get them the ball? Can they make the plays? That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I just hope that De'Aaron King actually make those reads and make those passes. Also, I do think on the defensive side that Tariq Stevenson is going to be that guy that we need to step up on the corner. Him, Takari Couch, DJ Ivy. And we also need Bubba Bolden to focus and make tackles and not just throw his body at, whoever's running the ball or catching the ball or whatever. Tackling, 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 tackling. That's been one of our mishaps for the past 2 games, a lot of missed tackles. If those guys could get it together, wrap up, bring guys down on the first initial contact, I think we'll be good on the defensive side. Now, Reed Lashley on the offensive side said that he's going to switch it up. We're not just going to see Cameron Harris get the ball running up the gut. We're going to see some different run plays. So hopefully that does happen and we don't come out and see the same play calls that we've seen against Alabama and App State offensive-wise. If so, we might be in trouble.
Yeah, and I will say, looking at the last 2 games for both Miami and Michigan State, of course, Miami won versus App State. It didn't look good, but I think Appalachian State was very underrated, I would say. I know they're not ranked, but they've been consistently in the top 25. They do have an explosive offense. Miami was never going to beat Alabama, and I know that many Hurricanes fans are going to absolutely chastise me in the chat for saying that. But, Miami was going to score points, but they were not going to beat Alabama. Michigan State, they won versus Northwestern. I think it's like 38-21. So their defense is a little bit sketchy, but Northwestern did come off a Big Ten title game. And then there's Youngstown State, which, of course, is a member of the greatest conference in FCS history, the Missouri Valley. Missouri Valley, very strong, but compared to the FBS in the Power 5, they were not going to they're just like any other, I'd say, group of 5, maybe FCS school. Youngstown State's at the very lower end of the barrel, and they still scored points. So Michigan State, I think they're going to come in, and I think they're going to underestimate Miami because they got those wins versus Youngstown State and Northwestern, and I think that's what Miami is going to use to win. But if De'Aaron King can get his shit together, or rather he won't,
he got to, man. He got to play better,
Michigan
man.
State will struggle.
Michigan State, they're gonna blitz King. They're gonna come right after him, man. They're gonna definitely put some pressure on him, and like I said, they're gonna play man on the outside and force your receivers to beat them. Michigan State on offense, they're gonna come out, run, get your linebackers sucked up, get you 8, 7 in the box, and then attack you vertically. So the people on the outside, the linemen, they definitely got to make plays, but an offensive coach, it's easy for him if he knows he can run the ball and get 4 or 5 yards on that first or second down, man. You got a lot of options on third down, and you can get real creative to attack the defense.
Okay, Hurricane CJ, what's going on with you?
Yo.
What's up, CJ?
Shit. What up,
Hey, CJ.
What up with y'all? Jacksonville State.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Jacksonville
you're
State.
welcome.
Jacksonville
You are
State.
welcome.
Thank you, Jacksonville State. Hey, look.
I turned Noel Squad over to the dark side. He's repping a JSU logo this week.
Might as well.
That was me. I claim that.
Look.
And he ain't changing it until Florida State wins a game.
He should.
Yes, he said it. Uncle Lou, in the Uncle Lou chat last night, he said that he was not going to change his logo back to his Florida State spear until Florida State wins a game.
That might be UMass at best.
UMass.
That might be
because
UMass.
They're not beating Wake Forest. Syracuse is a coin flip. They're going to beat UMass.
I don't know. UMass might win. We don't know.
Hey, CJ, I got your boy Rambo going off this game, man.
Man, shit. If he can catch that goddamn ball.
I got Rambo going off tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
I believe it.
That's if King can get it past the mid-range pass. Maybe.
Yeah.
If he can read it. What's called, I'll tell you like this. Everybody got these damn predictions. I'm going to tell y'all straight up.
Dude in the chat, D says Florida State will beat Wake Forest this weekend.
Oh,
okay. You got to be a fucking troll. Listen, so look.
If Florida State beats Wake Forest,
Say that, folks. Your man, say it.
we're saying
You gotta
Wake
be
Forest
bro.
needs to get kicked out of the ACC if Florida State beats them this weekend.
Florida State is not beating Wake Forest.
No, they're not being Wake Forest.
Listen, let's stop living in La La Land.
Yeah, it's sad.
T2, I'm still high off of last Saturday. I'm going to ride it until maybe the end of the season.
I picked them to beat Notre Dame because I knew they was going to play hard, but I don't know. I think Florida State, man, I think they just pack it up, man. They'll have some people hit the portal. They'll have some people opt out. And, I mean, I don't know how they're going to play against Wake Forest and what they're going to do the rest of their schedule, but
yeah, and I can relate to what Florida State did because Jacksonville State does the exact same thing. Like, we would play up to whoever is ranked higher than us, but the minute you get a team that's unranked or anything of the sort, it's just a dumpster fire of a game to watch. So I can sympathize with Florida State fans because we're the exact same way.
Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about the top 25, the matchups, who they play this week.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the top 25.
Let's talk about some of the overs and unders and what's going to happen. We'll run down the list. I got it all here. So, of course, we just talked about the Miami versus Michigan State. Everybody in the chat, put your score predictions for Miami versus Michigan State. Basically, we won't talk about this anymore. We talked about it for an hour and 17 minutes now. So, Miami versus Michigan State, final score predictions on this platform.
I missed that one.
I got Miami by less than 10, like low scoring game, 31 to I'd say 24.
I got Miami 21 to 17.
I got Michigan State by 6.
Yeah, my score prediction is Miami 30, Michigan State 24. So you're giving Miami one more point than I am. Not the best. Darnell, you says 34 to 27. Is that Michigan State or is that Miami?
What up, Tam? What you talk to you last night? John Shield.
BB the Gator, what's going on with you?
What's good, T2R?
All right, so you guys got a key matchup coming up with Alabama. We're gonna get into that a little bit because, of course, it's gonna be on the the top 25 games. You guys are ranked 11; they're ranked number 1. So we'll get into that in a second. Some more score predictions are coming in. D says Michigan State 42, Miami 27. I can't take D serious because he just said Florida State is going to beat Wake Forest, but then
they're assuming Michigan State scores almost the same amount of points that Alabama did, which I don't think is possible.
All right, so last chance for score predictions. Anybody in the chat, put your score predictions in. Other than that, we're going to move on from this. I'll give it another minute.
I think y'all win tomorrow by 3.
At this moment, a win's a win. Everybody else predicting losses, so I'll take that from you. All right. Okay, so we'll move on. Nebraska sitting at 2-1. Oklahoma, number 3 in the country, 2-0. Who you guys are rolling with on this game?
Oklahoma covers the spread and then covers the over all by themselves.
Yeah, Oklahoma by at least 21.
I'd say by 30.
That's a
like
no-brainer.
35.
That's not even a damn question. That's a no-brainer.
Because Nebraska's trash. They're not. I don't think they're really going to score a touchdown.
So the over and under in that game is 62. The line is set at 22.5 points. Oklahoma is favored. They are at home. So I'm going to roll with Oklahoma on that one. I mean, the first game of the season was kind of terrible for them, but the next week they bounced back, beating a team like 76-0 or whatever. So I guess they got fired up because the whole nation was saying that maybe they don't belong to where they at. So Nebraska, of course, lost the first game to, was it Illinois, if I'm not mistaken, or Indiana, one of those teams.
Illinois.
And then they bounced back two straight wins. You know, Scott Frost still on the hot seat, if you ask me, but I'm rolling with Oklahoma on that one. I don't think they covered the 22 points, though. Down south Buckeyes, he says Oklahoma. Oklahoma smashed Nebraska and Frost gets fired.
Yeah, that's what I think will happen.
That could happen.
Yeah.
Man, they're not going to
this
fire
game and the
Frost,
next
man.
game if they lose.
Yeah, they're not
At
going
this
to
moment, I do think if Oklahoma do embarrass Nebraska, there is a possible chance for Scott Frost to get fired. I mean, we just seen the USC coach get fired after being embarrassed by Stanford.
Yep.
True, but that's because USC had very high expectations. They were ranked, and then they get just destroyed by Stanford. So
yeah, you also got to look at Nebraska.
This is different. I think everybody expects Nebraska to lose.
Scott Frost coming into Nebraska after all the wins that he had at UCF. I'm sorry. Nebraska had high hopes for Scott Frost, and the past couple of seasons he hasn't lived up to it. So I do believe if they do get embarrassed in this game, there's a high chance that he might do get fired. We'll move on from that one. New Mexico versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M 29.5 point favorite. Over and under set at 50. This is a home game for Texas A&M. Where you guys going with that one?
All the points.
Blowout.
Yeah, blowout. That's not even a question.
Texas A&M covers the over by themselves.
All right, moving on. Cincinnati sitting at 2-0, number 8 in the country. Indiana, the spread is 3.5, over and under at 49.5. Where are you guys going with this one?
I got Cincinnati by a field goal. I got Cincinnati by a field goal. Their quarterback is good, bro.
Now, this is a home game for Indiana. I'm not quite sure how that crowd, might shift this game or not, but that is a home game for Indiana. CJ, how you feeling?
Cincinnati. That ain't even a question for me.
BB the Gator, which way you going on that one? BB's muted. Okay. Saying Indiana. Shane with a late score prediction. Miami 30, 24. That's my score prediction. So we on the same path. We on the same.
I'd have to say Cincinnati by less than a touchdown. I'd say about 4 points.
Okay, so if they do score, they do win by 4, they cover the spread.
Cincinnati's going to blow them out because Cincinnati is probably one of the teams that's outside the Power 5 that they predicted that might have a chance of slipping into the playoffs, and they played Georgia real good last year.
That is true. I did watch that game.
People don't watch Cincinnati because it's up there in Ohio, but Indiana's not the same Indiana team that played Ohio State tough last year. And nobody goes to Indiana games. That's a basketball school, so that's a blowout.
I still believe that Indiana lost that game against Penn State.
UC wins that game by 21 at least.
All right, so we got another key matchup: ACC versus Big 12. Number 15 in the country, Virginia Tech. First week beats North Carolina 17-10. Last week blows out some nobody team. West Virginia sitting at 1-1. I think they lost to Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. West Virginia versus Virginia Tech. Where you guys going with this one? The line is set West Virginia 2.5. Over and under is set at 50. It is in Morgantown, West Virginia. Who you guys taking?
West Virginia does play a lot of teams very tough in Morgantown, and given that this is a rivalry game, I know that both teams are going to bring everything that they've got. Virginia Tech, of course, got the win over, I would say, an overrated North Carolina. So I got Virginia Tech. This game could go within, I'd say, 3 points, but I got Virginia Tech winning by 3 points.
I got West Virginia winning. I got the gold and blue. Shout out the gold and blue dude.
Shout out to gold and blue dude. I'm sorry, man. I gotta go with Virginia Tech on this one.
I'm going with Virginia Tech.
Since they
He's
recruited
like
me
he's
out of
gonna
high
make a
school.
video during the West Virginia game saying, "Totally not depressed. I told you we were gonna beat Virginia Tech's ass, bro."
Since they recruited me out of high school, I got West Virginia by 7.
All right, so we got most of the fans are picking Virginia Tech. AR looking at West Virginia. All right.
I got
Me personally, I'm gonna go with Virginia Tech on that one. I haven't seen much of West Virginia to say that they're gonna beat the Hokies, but if the Hokies quarterback Burnhameister can get going like he did against North Carolina, get going early and stay consistent, I think Virginia Tech win convincingly, maybe 10 points.
I got West Virginia. I don't think anybody in the ACC is any good, and I think Tech's garbage, and they'll probably win the Coastal regardless.
Damn.
ACC
Well,
Coastal.
Nobody in the ACC.
It's okay.
ACC
West Virginia's
Coastal
going to the
is
ACC.
garbage.
Remember, according to Golden Blue Dude.
Whoever wins in the ACC Coastal going to have at least 3 or 4 losses.
Man, Golden Blue,
Yeah.
listen, Golden Blue Dude is
Enjoy that game against Clemson.
Enjoy that butt whoop against Clemson, who was another team.
Let me tell you this. Golden Blue Dude, in my opinion, is a genius. Because he's saying that he has sources telling him that West Virginia is going to the ACC.
Yeah, the ACC.
And he refused to, say his sources or whatever. And I don't blame him. When you have a source, you don't give it away, or you probably will never get information again. But nonetheless,
shout out to the rest of the ACC teams because I've been hearing enjoy that butt whip from Clemson for about 7 months now, and I never got it.
Now I do believe he's a genius in one aspect. If he is wrong about this, West Virginia is going to the ACC. You won't find out until maybe 2023 or 2025. So right now, you can't really say nothing against what he's saying. So.
I mean, if West Virginia joins the ACC, that essentially makes the ACC like the Big East 2.0, right?
I got sources that Miami's leaving the ACC and they're going to join the MAC conference after this year.
Which Miami?
Oh shit!
Their new rivalry won't be Florida State. It's going to be Miami of Ohio. Who's the real Miami?
Miami of Florida.
All right, so we'll move on. We won't spend too much time on this one. I don't know too much about either one. I just know Coastal Carolina's making a name for
Coastal by 21.
Carolina versus Buffalo. Point spread is set at 14, over and under 58. I'm going to roll with Coastal Carolina. I'm pretty sure most
I'm rolling with Buffalo. Buffalo by a field goal.
Okay, so you got Buffalo with the upset alert.
Okay.
Coastal Carolina.
That's tough. All right, moving on. Northern Illinois versus Michigan. Michigan 29.5-point favorite, over and under 54. This is in Michigan.
Northern Illinois.
I got NIU covering the spread, but I think Michigan wins.
Yeah, I'm going to take Michigan for the win. I don't know if they beat them by 27 and a half, though.
NIU.
Yeah, I'm taking Michigan. I'm taking Michigan on that one.
I'm taking NIU.
So you guys are going with hardball.
I'm going Northern Illinois.
CJ, you don't believe that. CJ, you don't believe that.
Bad as hardball being here, I ain't surprised they get upset. I'm just saying.
They can beat Georgia Tech. They can beat Michigan.
Now, Reggie said SEC equals Jada Kiss, ACC equals Dipset. That's tough.
Damn.
That's tough. All right, so it's clear everybody's picking Michigan. We can move on for that. Notre Dame versus Purdue. 2-0, 2-0.
Upset alert.
Notre Dame is a 7-point favorite, over and under 58. This is in Notre Dame Stadium, so who you guys rolling with? We'll start with Guapo. Who you taking on this one, Notre Dame or Purdue?
That's an in-state game. Purdue's, I think that's in West Lafayette, and Notre Dame is in South Bend, so that's an in-state game. But Purdue ain't been good since Drew Brees, so Notre Dame probably by 3 touchdowns at least.
All right, totally not depressed.
The way Notre Dame played against Florida State and Toledo, of all teams, I got Purdue with the upset.
All right. Sergeant AR-10.
Purdue with the upset.
Okay. CJ, what you thinking?
Not so fast, my friend. Not with Notre Dame telling Purdue that Purdue can't bring that big drum in for the halftime performance. Notre Dame gonna win because they can't bring the big drum in there.
I like Corso.
And
I'm going with Purdue.
BB going with Purdue. Okay. So he's rolling with the Boilermakers. Me personally, I think Notre Dame win this game close. They might not cover the 7, but I'm picking Notre Dame to win it. All right, so Florida versus Alabama. Now, me personally, I'm gonna give my take. Then you guys can give yours. I think Florida get their ass whooped. I think they get blown out. I think it's not close. The point spread is 14.5. Over and under is 59. I think Alabama will score 59 by themselves.
This won't be week 1 of Miami again.
Alabama played every single point.
Alabama did beat Miami 44-13, so I do think they'll beat Florida 45.
No, that won't happen. That won't happen. Our defense and our D-line is way better.
They may not even score a touchdown.
So when it comes to Alabama versus Florida, roll Tide.
Oh, now you roll Tide?
Guapo, what's your thoughts?
I think this game is going to be closer than what people think, and I don't have any dog in the fight. But Alabama, this is the first time this year that Alabama's going to face, I guess, and Florida's going to play both quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks that is athletic, but I don't think either one of the Florida quarterbacks can really throw. So Florida keeps it close until third quarter, then Alabama just puts it on them. So Alabama wins by, I think Alabama only wins by 17.
Nah.
Totally not depressed.
I said I'd take Alabama, lay every single point. I think Alabama will score probably 49 points. It really depends on if Florida can get 8
Y'all tripping. They is not scoring on 49 points.
Yes, they are. Florida's terrible.
No, they not.
Hey, BB, you have your turn, man. Let them finish.
Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, I got Alabama scoring 49 against Florida. Florida will probably score 14 like they did last year. I'm joking. They're going to score 14 like Miami did, and everybody's going to say, Florida's terrible, fire Dan Mullen, and Dan Mullen's going to get fired after this game. We all know how this is going to go.
Nah, we don't do that
All right,
in
so
games.
Sergeant AR-10, your thoughts.
Gums win by 8 points. The Swamp Donkey's gonna get 2 touchdowns called back because after watching that tape against Miami and Bama, the refs gonna screw y'all over. So just be prepared.
We know how that go in the SEC, Sarge. We know how that go. You know they gonna throw some favor for. That's what they do for Bama.
Y'all gonna have some big plays called back. It's gonna be some just random yellow.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I got the Guns by 8.
All right, CJ, what's your thoughts?
Much as I don't like the baby lizards, but the last time I seen a quarterback wearing number 15, they won a championship. So I'm gonna go with the baby lizard this game.
So you picking Florida now?
I'm picking Florida. I'm picking Florida. They put number 15 in.
That's Richardson, right?
Yeah.
Richardson.
So that's not Emily Jones.
No.
Now, I told Florida fans at the beginning of the season, before they even kicked off football, Emily Jones was not that guy. And clearly, so far, I'm right.
It's Anthony Richardson.
So Anthony Richardson, he's going with him. I still think they lose by 50, but okay. BB, go ahead, man. What's your thoughts?
I think we lose by 7. I think we lose by 7 to close one.
You must be the most realistic Florida fan I've ever heard.
I told you, bro, I'm going to tell the truth. I ain't going to never just say we're going to win if I don't think we're going to win.
If Florida Trucker was in here, you would have to send him your email.
I know Florida Trucker, he won't agree with it, but I'm just going to be real with you. We're going to lose by 7.
Your email. He would have asked you for your email.
Stupid.
All right, some of the comments: Bama by 25, Bama big, Bama covers and over, Bama UF need to start AR. Bama's going
We
to
do.
whoop Florida's ass. Florida 24, Alabama 21.
Hey, y'all
Hell
trying to
no.
put me at quarterback, man? Y'all want to start AR at quarterback?
D, you started to lose some credit in here today, man. First you say Florida State gonna beat Wake Forest. Now you got
Richardson is good, but he's no Bryce Young.
It said D, Alabama owns Florida. Bama go on roll. Bama by 17. Referees about to help Bryce Young. All right, so Bama it is. One or two people saying Florida, that's tough. Yeah, we'll move on from that. Iowa, Kennesaw State. I think that's typical. Iowa wins. Iowa's a 23-point favorite. I think they cover that. 56 is the over and under. And it's a home game for Iowa. I'm taking Iowa over Kennesaw State. What are you guys thinking? John,
First of all, that's Kent State, but I got Iowa all the points.
I got Iowa by 30.
Call me crazy with it.
30. Bama by 30 by John Shields.
Yeah, I told you Hawkeyes last time. I'll tell you Hawkeyes this time.
D says Dan Mullen beats Bama with less talent before. Has Don Mullen ever beat Bama?
When?
Only at Florida when he was OC. That was it. They don't have some close games when he had Dak Prescott at Mississippi State.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the last time Florida beat Alabama was what, 2008?
Yeah.
That's with Tim Tebow, I think.
Yeah. That's before they went on their run.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same. I don't think 2008 and 2021 is nowhere comparable. Roll Tide. All right. Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Clemson 28-point favorite, 52 over and under. I'm going to just go ahead and go with Clemson on that. Have no faith in Georgia Tech after week one. Will be passed to somebody that nobody knows. They're playing Clemson.
Is that Clemson, right? Is that Clemson?
Yeah.
Ooh. Yep, Clemson all the points.
Clemson.
Blowout. Not even close. I think DJ Ukulele probably have his best.
I'm gonna fuck with a Tech. I'm gonna fuck with a Tech.
Oh my goodness, CJ, come on,
I'm
man.
fuck with a Tech. Hey, listen, let's tell you something. I'm gonna fuck with a Tech. I'm gonna roll with a Tech. I'm roll with upset.
CJ.
I'm roll with upset.
You got balls, I'll give you that.
I'm roll with upset.
CJ, I ain't never thought I'd have to do it to you, man. But
Shut your stupid ass up. Say that, folks. What is your dumb ass say it?
Everybody got a day. Anything can happen on Saturday.
That's tough.
I don't know, bro. It probably would be over in the first half.
I'm just saying.
I mean, Georgia Tech like 2 years away.
2 years.
Not even. I say I give them another decade.
Damn.
They not that bad, bro. They not that bad.
Make sure you guys hit that
They
like
beat
button.
Florida State once, and all of a sudden that they're back.
Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, there's a poll in the chat. Basically says who wins, Miami or Michigan State. Make sure you guys vote on that. All right, so Ohio State versus Tulsa. Ohio State 25-point favorite, over and under 60, 61. It's in Columbus, Ohio. I'm gonna go ahead and just say Ohio State on that one. What you guys thinking? Any chance for an upset, maybe?
No.
No. Oh,
I mean, there's always a chance, but I don't think Tulsa is the team for that upset.
Hurricane Miller say Tulsa.
They gonna go crazy. They just lost to Oregon. They about to go crazy on Tulsa.
Yeah.
Ohio State. Down South Buckeye says 56-17 Ohio. All right, so we just lost BB and El Guapo. Put a link back in the chat just in case they come back in. All right, so yeah, that's clear. Ohio State. We're not even going to dwell on that one. Georgia Southern, Arkansas. I think after watching Arkansas demolish Texas like that, I'm not even going to.
I'd take Arkansas too.
Yeah,
I got Arkansas. Shout out to the women out there in Georgia Southern, though, man. It's some nice co-eds out there.
You funny as hell. You funny as hell.
All right, South Carolina, Georgia.
I'm going South Carolina with the upset. Gamecock Nation.
All right, so the over and under is 47.
Because I want to hear Uncle Luke cry about it.
31.5-point favorite in this one. CJ, what you think?
What, both of them 2-0?
Both of them 2-0.
Ooh, well, yeah, but Georgia played Clemson in the beginning of the season, though.
What you think?
Shit. I don't know, because South Carolina has been a problem for Georgia for some year.
Hurricane Millie going with South Carolina.
I don't know. That's good. That's gonna be a game. I don't know.
Upset.
I'm gonna just go ahead and go with Georgia, man.
All right, BB, what you thinking? Georgia or South Carolina?
Oh, Georgia got that.
All right, Sergeant AL10, the floor is yours. That's your team. What you thinking?
Georgia by 17. They're not going to cover the spread because Muschamp is on the sideline with us, and he's going to tell Kirby not to run the score up. So, yeah,
That's about right. Yeah.
That's the thing about old Southern people, man. We don't kick a man when he's down. We know we're better. We know we probably destroy them, man, but we'll take our foot off the brake and put in our freaking third and fourth string in the third quarter, just like we did against fucking UAB, man. We could have scored 100 on UAB.
Yeah.
All right, so down South Buckeye says SC for the upset.
They ain't got the defense.
Bulldogs. UGA defense has scored 14 points in 2 games. Y'all got to think of this game. UGA will cover. Okay, that's a Georgia fan, of course. So of course he's thinking Georgia's gonna cover that 31.5 point. Darnell says Georgia by 14. UGA defense has yet to give up a touchdown. Okay.
This is true. This is true.
All right, so we'll move on from that. Stony Brook, Oregon.
Mighty Ducks.
There's no point spread or anything set for that one as of yet. We'll just roll with Oregon on that one.
What's Oregon's rank right now?
I'm pretty sure Stony Brook is a
Oregon
D2
is
team.
at number 4 in the country right now.
They're number 4?
Yeah, beat Ohio State.
Ooh-wee.
They was number 12 when they beat Ohio State, who was ranked number 3, so they jumped up to number 4 in the country.
I say Oregon scored 70.
Damn.
All right, so now this should be a tough one. This is Auburn versus Penn State. This is a home game for Penn State. Penn State is a 5-point favorite. The over and under is set at 53. Both teams come into this game 2-0. Penn State ranked number 10. Auburn at number 22. Who do you guys got? Let's start with Totally Not Depressed.
I'm conflicted with this game, and it's not because of any attachment to any of the two teams, but it's based on who they played. Penn State, they won their first 2 games that they beat Wisconsin, was it? Was it Wisconsin?
Yeah, they beat Wisconsin.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
they beat Wisconsin.
So they beat Wisconsin, and then Auburn on the other end. They destroyed Akron, and then they also destroyed Alabama State, which I kind of expected. Alabama State to at least score, I'd say, 14 points. But Auburn's defense, like, they've been pretty strong against those two teams despite them being worse than them. And the offense, like, they're finally getting their shit together. As much as I want to say Penn State runs away with this game because they beat Wisconsin and they have that experience against teams like that are ranked alongside them, I'm still gonna take Penn State, but I think they win by 3 or less.
Sergeant L. Tim, what you think?
Penn State by 15.
Oh wow!
Of course, he gonna say that. He's a Georgia fan.
Is it just the hate for the Auburn Tigers, or that?
Nah. You got to remember that the Penn State coaches, these are veteran coaches. It's gonna be at their house. You know what I'm saying? Auburn has a brand new coaches. They still got Bo Nix. They do got Tank in the backfield, but
Yeah.
I mean that's just it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be enough. And I don't trust Auburn's defense like that. Ever since they lost Marlon Davidson and all those guys in the defense, Auburn's defense never been the same.
Oh, big cat.
Yeah, ever since they lost those guys, I don't trust Auburn's defense like that.
Okay. All right, got Cynthia. What's going on, Cynthia? How you doing? Appreciate you. Hold on. Hurricane Lenore says, I like Florida by 10 points. Alabama hasn't played against nobody and only put up 44 points.
They ain't playing nobody.
Damn, Lenore. You don't do us like that, man.
Lenore, you
real.
calling your own team and nobody?
Yeah, he kept it real.
Damn, that's tough. Auburn is about to run through Penn State.
I got Auburn.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to be the matchup, primetime, ABC. That's going to be the one most people are tuning in. That's a top 25 matchup. All right, so keeping it in the ACC matchup, North Carolina ranked number 21. Virginia sitting at 2-0, look a little impressive so far. This is in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. North Carolina is a favorite by 8 points, over and under 65.5. Me, on this one, I'm not quite sure where I want to go, but I think I'm going to take North Carolina on this one. Totally not depressed. What you think?
I got Virginia with the upset on this one. I think that Virginia is going to do what they did in 2019, where they make some big plays, and I think they're fine. They're back on offense, and I don't think North Carolina, after what we saw against who they play, I already forgot. Yeah, the way Virginia Tech beat them, I got Virginia beating and upsetting North Carolina.
Okay. So far, we got one North Carolina. Everybody else is saying Virginia. Virginia got a stud at quarterback.
I think North Carolina just scored again on Miami from last year.
No, damn.
Well, who said that? Who said that?
I think they're running for 1,000 yards this time. Still running.
Oh shit!
Like I said, that's
Damn.
on El Guapo. He should change his name to totally depressed old school Miami Cane fan.
Still doesn't stop the fact that North Carolina ran for like 1,000 yards against Miami. So I don't know what you call that.
That's tough.
Ooh,
It's real
trash
tough.
talk.
So you got moving on from that one. Everybody's picking Virginia for the upset. So Tulane versus Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss handled that pretty well.
Old Piss? You mean Old Piss?
Ole
Now,
Miss is just going to keep firing on Tulane.
Now the point spread, the over and under is sitting at 76.5. So they're predicting it's going to be a more offensive game than defensively. Maybe Ole Miss offense put up 100 points on them. Who knows?
Lane Kiffin is an offensive genius, so I have Ole Miss winning by, I'd say, 28.
Yeah, at least 20.
All right, so you got Arizona State sitting at 2-0, 19th in the country. BYU 23. This game is in Utah. Who you guys are picking for this one? Arizona
Sun
State
Devils.
is the favorite.
It's in Provo, so I'm gonna have to give this one to BYU by 3.
All right, so you're going against the spread, which is
Yep.
4 for Arizona State.
Yep.
CJ, what? Oh, I'm saying, CJ. Sergeant A.I.10, what you think?
I got BYU by a field goal.
Okay, BYU. BB, what you think?
Go with the Sun Devils.
Rolling with the Sun Devils. Yeah, I think I'm conflicted in this one, but I'm gonna take BYU. I'm gonna take them for the upset. This is gonna be my upset matchup of the week. All right, El Guapo, what you thinking, man?
The Mormons by 14.
Okay.
All right, so if you're with El Guapo on this one, you might want to parlay, bet the money line, all that good stuff. BYU. Iowa State this week, UNLV. I think they bounced back against UNLV. Last week they took a loss. I think it's 27-17 or something like that to Iowa. So I do think they bounced back. This is a home game for UNLV. Iowa State is a 32.5-point favorite, over and under 52. Who you guys got?
Iowa State, every last point. UNLV, they lost to Eastern Washington, which is an FCS team. So I got Iowa State by at minimum 35.
Game might be closer than you think, man. I think UNLV got Tate Martell.
Yes,
Shit.
First round pick Heisman.
That's why it's gonna be a blowout.
All right, so Fresno
He's just
State,
that good.
UCLA, Fresno State. UCLA is 11-point favorite.
See, I would actually put this as like an upset alert game because Fresno State, I like what they're doing, and UCLA, I mean, they barely beat. Well, actually, they didn't barely beat, but they did beat LSU. But LSU's been declining for the past 2 years. So I'm gonna take Fresno State with the upset.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with UCLA. I'm not even gonna think about that one.
I'm going with UCLA.
All right, let's
UCLA.
go see the other ACC matchups. Let's run through those. I know a lot of them aren't ranked right now. So tonight, 7:30, ESPN. UCF is a 7-point favorite, over and under 67 points over Louisville. Who you guys picking in this one? Louisville or UCF?
UCF by 3.
What you
I
think,
got
Sergeant?
Louisville.
I live in Orlando. I'm going
by
with
a
UCF.
touchdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in the home Florida right now, and I'm gonna go with UCF on this one. I think Gus Malzahn's gonna get the job done.
Yeah, Gus is coaching UCF, so I got Louisville by a touchdown.
All right,
You
so
hate
far we
Auburn,
got-
that's why.
yeah,
All right.
UCF. All right, so keeping it, we already talked about Miami. We already talked about that matchup. Pitt versus Western Michigan. I'll take Pitt.
Pitt by 24.
Yeah, I got Pitt.
Okay, so we got some Louisvilles in the chat too now. It ain't just UCF. I do think 2 people in the chat says UCF, 2 people says Louisville. So we'll see how that turned out tonight. I'll definitely be watching. Hurricane Miller says Pitt by 9. Pitt. Okay, so we'll move on from that. Syracuse, Albany. I'm gonna roll with Syracuse. There's no point spread. There's no over and under. Just roll with that. Boston College, Temple. Boston College, 14.5-point favorite, 57 over and under. I'm gonna take Boston College.
I'm gonna take Boston College.
I'll just take Boston College and all the points.
Yeah, easy.
So we already did Clemson, Georgia. Okay, so the showdown.
Here we go, the main event.
Florida State sitting at 0-2. 0-2. 0-2.
I wonder why.
Rose, shout out to Rose, man.
Wake Forest is a 4.5 point favorite. Over and under is set at 62. This is a home game for Wake Forest. Totally not depressed. What you think?
I've been saying for 9 months that Florida State would start 0-2. I think Wake Forest will absolutely wreck Florida State by 17 plus.
Wow.
Down south, Buckeye says FSU on opposite day. Damn. So you're picking who? Wait, did you say you're picking FSU?
I'm picking Wake Forest.
Oh, okay, all right. What you thinking, Sergeant?
I'm thinking Florida State by a field goal. Wake Forest will keep it close, but I can't put no faith in no freaking Wake Forest because of what Jamie Newman did to us. So screw Wake Forest.
So you're making this prediction based on your feelings. That's tough.
Yes.
Rose is in the building. Okay, so Florida State, Wake Forest. Everybody in the chat is saying Wake Forest. Wake Forest by 24. Wake Forest figured it out, win by 14. Okay, so
No.
Score prediction.
No.
Score prediction. El Guapo, what you thinking?
I think Florida State could win if Charlie Ward, Chris Winkie, Deion Sanders, Derek Brooks.
Damn, man. Don't do that.
Charlie Ward.
Bobby Bowden, rest in peace, came back. They haven't taken
Damn.
Jameis Winston.
Is that serious?
Jalen Ramsey.
That guy they said who was a ripoff to Sean Taylor, that Ramsey boy. Florida State ain't got a chance. That's a dumpster fire.
Dalvin Cook. You can't forget about
Dalvin
Dalvin Cook.
List goes on and on. I don't even think North Carolina makes it the rest of the season. Florida State takes an L. They're done. Dumpster fire.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Jermaine Johnson for leaving us and going to Florida State.
He probably knows
Jermaine Johnson carried that defense, believe it or not. So, credit to him, but if only the rest of the defense actually did something.
So, BB, what you thinking, BB?
Man, I don't know. I know they're going to lose, but this shit is sad.
You have to put a score on it. What it'll be?
I say Wake Forest 28, Florida State 20.
Oh, you so nice. All right, so I think Florida State.
I'm very nice.
Florida State lose this game. I think the score probably be around 38-10.
Damn, teacher, really?
That's tough. That's
Shout out
tough.
to Jamie Newman for quitting on us 2 weeks before the season started, opting out, not getting drafted, then going to Philly and then getting cut, not even in the NFL no more.
Now, for all y'all that got faith in Florida State, need I remind you that last week they lost to JSU.
Hello.
JSU planted their flag. It is no longer Bobby Bowden Field.
Straighten out Phil's face.
They changed the name of the stadium. They changed the name of the field. The field is now Gamecocks Field.
Hey, TTY, you know if Florida State goes 2-10 or less, you have to change your name to Gamecock TTY, right?
Oh,
Absolutely.
damn.
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry, but I cannot lower my standard and go down to an FCS. Now you might want to tell a Florida State YouTuber to do that. I'm pretty sure they're more.
I already did it once with No Squad. I wonder if I can get Rose to change his to a JSU logo.
It's tough. That's tough. He said Mike Norvell don't got us.
You see, he changed it.
All season it was Mike Norvell we trust. That's tough.
Not no more.
That's tough.
Yeah, them days are over.
Northwestern versus Duke. I'm gonna take Northwestern. Northwestern is 2.5 point favorite. I think they beat Duke by 3 touchdowns.
Yep.
No
Duke lost the first game to Charlotte. I have no faith in them.
Yeah, I'm going Northwestern.
But they beat the mighty North Carolina A&T.
And then
Yes.
you have Foreman versus North Carolina State. North Carolina State, no doubt. All right,
I want to say upset, but yeah, I got NC State.
You know what? Let's skip everything. Let's go into the SEC. This should be pretty.
Here we go.
Let's see who they play this week. We already went through Texas A&M. All right.
Ooh, okay.
Chattanooga versus Kentucky. I'll take Kentucky.
Yeah, I'll take
Maybe it's
Kentucky.
a Kroger
Chattanooga's not good.
Made us a Kroger Field.
Yeah, and it's in Kroger Field.
I'll say it again. Made us at Kroger Field.
All right, Missouri versus Southern East Missouri. Missouri, no doubt.
Yeah. Missouri by 24 against Demo.
Yep.
See, look at Rose. He said Chattanooga. He just want everybody else to lose. That's just like a Florida State fan.
I mean, maybe 3 years ago,
Everybody else.
Chattanooga would have won, but not this time.
They just want everybody else to lose to FCS school so they can feel better about themselves. That's good. Tennessee versus Tennessee Tech. I'm gonna take Tennessee.
I got Tennessee Tech with the upset.
Y'all already know I got Florida by 30 on that one. We can move on from it. We already did Arkansas. Mississippi State versus Memphis. Who you guys got? This should be a good matchup.
Taking the Bulldogs.
I'll say Memphis with the upset.
So we got two Bulldogs. So pretty much Mississippi State. They're 3.5-point favorite too, by the way. All right, so we can move on from those. We already did Auburn. We already did Georgia. LSU versus Central Michigan.
I'm going with the Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Tiger
I got
football.
LSU by less than 2 touchdowns.
So LSU, they're 19-point favorite. I'm gonna roll with LSU. I'm not even gonna disrespect the Tigers. We already did that one. Oh, bottom feeders.
Battle of the Nerds.
Crash Bowl. Dumpster Juice. Stanford versus Vanderbilt. Two of the lesser.
Stanford all the points.
Two of the lesser.
The tree huggers. The tree huggers.
Yeah, Stanford is a 12-point favorite. Who you guys got? Stanford
I got
versus
the tree huggers.
Now this game,
I said
I'm pretty
Stanford
sure
all the
nobody's gonna watch. So y'all rolling with Stanford. Okay, cool.
They get blown out by Stanford, and then next week we beat them even worse.
That's tough. All right, let's
Vanderbilt
go.
will be Manny Diaz's new next coaching job.
Vanderbilt exists only for GPA and baseball.
They will
That's
hire
it.
Manny sight unseen.
That's tough.
They don't care.
That's tough. Minnesota, Colorado. Who you guys rolling with?
I'm gonna take
Colorado. They almost beat Texas A&M. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Colorado by maybe 7.
Okay, so nobody got any faith in Minnesota. I mean, they kept it close against Ohio State. No Minnesota. All right.
Nope.
All right, so I guess I'm gonna go with the upset with Minnesota. I think they'll beat Colorado. Idaho, Oklahoma. Idaho, Oregon State. No points, nothing set. I'm going with Oregon State.
I'm a big fan of Beavers, so I'm gonna go with the Beavers.
I'm gonna say the Vandals with an upset.
I love Beavers, so I'm gonna go with the Beavers.
All right. USC versus Washington State. USC is a 7.5-point favorite with no head coach. We all got. I'm gonna take Washington State with the upset.
You go with the
Yeah, I'll
Trojans.
take Washington State too.
All right. Another Cal versus Sacramento State. I'm gonna just go with Cal.
Yeah.
I'm going to predict another upset, Sacramento State.
Hey, definitely need to work on that tough apparel. Yeah, I'm gonna start thinking of try to come up with something for it. Put out some. That's tough. Arkansas State versus Washington. Yeah, Washington.
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 And this the problem with the Big 12. All their matchups suck. That's why they always underrated. Utah, San Diego State.
Utah.
I'm going with Marshall Falk's alma mater. I'm going with San Diego State, the Aztecs.
I'm gonna take San Diego State for the upset.
Yeah, I've been on that campus a few times, man. It's a nice school.
We pretty much talked about everything else. Arizona sitting at 0-2, Northern Arizona sitting at 0-2. Shit Bowl. I'll take Arizona.
Arizona.
I'm going to go NAU with the upset.
Yeah, one of these teams got to win the toilet paper, so I'm gonna give it to Arizona. Pac-12. We can move on. Let's go into the Big 10, Big 12, which where they already are. All right, Big 12. Let's see the matchups this week. We already went through that one. Nevada, Kansas State.
Kansas State.
Yeah, Kansas State.
I'm gonna take Kansas State also. Baylor, Kansas.
Okay.
Baylor, big win.
Baylor. Kansas is trash, Baylor.
Yeah. All right. FIU versus Texas Tech.
Tech.
I'm gonna take
As a
FIU with the
fan,
upset.
Texas Tech.
I'm gonna take
FIU
with the upset. I'm gonna stay at home in Florida and go with FIU with the upset.
I'm going with the Red Raiders. The Red Raiders.
I'm gonna go with the real Miami.
That's tough. All right.
Yeah.
Rice
I just had to throw that in there, T2. I had to throw that in there.
I see you. Rice in Texas. Texas. No doubt. Okay, here's a good one.
Texas is back.
Oklahoma State versus Boise State. Boise State is actually a 3-point favorite in this one.
Really?
I'm going to go with Oklahoma State in this one.
Man, we got Gator Hater in the building. Gator Hater, I think you missed the part where we did the score prediction for Florida State. Everybody say y'all gonna lose by 30. Just to get you caught up with the show a little bit.
Hey, Gator Hater, how was last Saturday?
So Boise, okay, so I got one Boise State and I got one Oklahoma State. They got Boise State for the upset now. I'm gonna take Boise State. I think Boise State should.
I'm saying Oklahoma State with the upset.
It's on the blue field. It's on the blue field.
I think Boise State should be mad at the Big 12 because I don't think they sent them an invite.
No, they didn't.
So I think they probably will go out there and play with some heated. I think they'll do something.
Look at Lenoris Murray. Florida Gators beat Alabama by 2 touchdowns.
Man, we see this from Lenoris every week when he picked them Florida teams. He was picking Florida State to beat Clemson last year.
Oh my goodness.
Before the
Oh
my goodness.
No.
Oh yeah, we already talked about that one. All right, let's go into the Big 10. Let's see what they got going on this week. Maryland versus Illinois. Maryland 7-point favorite. You guys rolling with Maryland or Illinois?
I'm going with Illinois.
I'm gonna go with Maryland on this one.
You take the Turks.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Maryland also. Dan Enos got that offense over there fired up. They're doing big.
Might lock.
Yeah, so I'm rolling. I'm gonna roll with Maryland. Shout out to Dan Enos for running a clean offense. That's tough.
Y'all want them back, TTY?
Hell no. To the no. All right.
You left down there last week.
We did all those. Did that one. We did that one. Rutgers 2-0. Delaware. Who y'all got?
Ooh, Delaware.
I got Rutgers.
I just had flashbacks of Delaware. I got Delaware upsetting Rutgers.
I'm gonna take Rutgers. I don't think Delaware.
I'm taking Rutgers. Rutgers look pretty all right.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Rutgers on that one. We did all those matchups already. All right, well there you have the Power 5 teams, top 25 teams. College football week 3 should be interesting. Florida getting beat by 30.
No, stop. Yeah.
South Carolina upset Georgia.
Yeah.
Florida State getting beat by 50 by Wake Forest.
Michigan State going to Hard Rock.
Hey, y'all wearing the black jerseys? Y'all wearing the black
They
jerseys?
better.
Nah, it's I seen it earlier. I forgot what it is.
They gonna wear the green and white.
Okay.
Nah, we wearing orange. We're not wearing green.
Orange.
As
You know,
long as you're not wearing the black jerseys.
Yeah, I gotta keep it original.
I seen some great. I think
black
they working
jerseys
on
against
some.
Carolina, boy. That shit got ugly. Bro.
I see that they working on, right now they're working on some gray jerseys. I thought they look fire.
Yeah, don't wear the black against anybody in the Hard Rock. Don't ever do that again.
I think if we're gonna wear the black jersey, we should wear it against Central Connecticut.
Yeah. Y'all gonna win.
I think we'll beat them in the black jersey.
Man, that North Carolina game, I was texting T2. I was like, bro, do you see what the fuck is going on?
Oh, man. That's week 3 for you. So, all right, BB, what do you guys got to do to beat Alabama?
Okay. Can't turn the ball over. That's number one. We got to play great defense, and we got to hit the big plays when we have them.
All right, so you say can't turn the ball over. You will.
Yeah.
Plays, you will.
Contain Bryce Young. Bryce Young.
We can do that. I'm not worried about that part.
Bryce Young.
We gonna contain them.
Hurricane Miller said get a quarterback.
Y'all need one too.
Miami, where your outside linebackers, DNs run out.
No, we don't do shit.
So you can go outside.
Sorry, you know Grantham better than I do. You know he don't do that. He gonna blitz them if any damn thing.
Alabama is gonna treat Florida like an FCS school.
So
Man, that ain't gonna happen.
How to beat Alabama? Don't schedule them at all.
Shit, fuck that. Gotta beat them.
Florida has no defense.
We ain't got no defense. Wow, it look better than Miami.
Gator hate.
Alabama gets COVID. That's tough.
That's wrong, bro.
The difference in this game and Miami game. The difference in this game with Miami, we got a D-line.
Class, Gator hater.
So you got
a Gator hater, man. -10 on the
got a D-line.
-10.
Gator hater is still mad that FSU lost.
Hurricane said don't play Emily Jones.
Hey, how you looking? I don't want to play him either.
I mean, that's tough.
What is up with Dan Mullen? Because if the whole
Alabama's been
football
scared
nation
to be D1.
that
I
Anthony
think
Richardson is a better quarterback than Emily Jones. What is he waiting on?
I think this Emory last game.
Well, I mean, he got.
I think he was saving. I think he was just saving AR for he won't come out and just look bad in the first 2 games. But I think now, after this game, after Emory fuck up this time, I think he done with him.
I do
Stetson
think
Bennett
Anthony
put
Richardson
21
is the
points on him,
future
so
of
if you
Florida.
can score on him, if Stetson Bennett can put 21 points on him, you can score
I
on him.
know. It's not that even Emory playing bad. He just not trusting what he's doing. He had people open on those interceptions he throwing. The people are open. He's just holding the ball too long. Then he throws it. He's 5 seconds too late.
Nah, Hurricane Miller said move Emily Jones to wide receiver or
He
cornerback.
ain't no damn wide receiver. We don't do that, man. We don't need him at wide receiver. He just ain't gonna play.
What about cornerback?
We got that too. We don't need that.
Who's your cornerbacks?
Elam and Marshall.
Wait, freshman Marshall?
Yeah. Why you think he came? That's why he came. We gonna be on the field right away.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
It had to be something why he would choose Florida over Miami.
I mean, one reason because our DBs get drafted. And then, yeah, all the people he beat out was other red shirt freshmen and true freshmen. So,
Hurricane.
Speaking of DBs
Gator Hater says,
five get drafted.
Gator Hater says Gators punter will be the MVP.
who?
He said your punter will be the MVP.
We got a punter, but no, he could. He could change to the field position.
You guys will probably have maybe 8 possessions. So him kicking 8 punts, that's tough.
Nah, we ain't gonna have no 8 position, man. Y'all tripping, boy. I don't know what y'all thinking. One thing about Dan Mullen, he gonna scheme that shit up. So I don't worry about that.
Anthony says keep Emily Jones.
I don't worry about that.
The Bama secondary can get exposed if you
Thank you, Sarge. You're right. I like Miami. Y'all couldn't capitalize on that. If we hit those throws
down the field, you got to throw it down the field.
Dan Mullen's gonna take shots. I don't hesitate on that. I know he's gonna do that. It's just are we gonna hit him?
The question
That's
is,
the thing.
you try to throw him with Emily Jones or you gonna throw him with?
Well, Emily took it don't matter. Emily threw a deep ball last week. It's just what I told you. In the first half, he looked great. But second half, I don't know what he was doing.
He said, Miami, keep King for the Florida State game. Look, it don't matter who he starts for Florida State game.
Hey, Florida.
Cornerback and we'll still
I don't know. King gonna give Florida State a chance. King gonna give Florida State a chance.
Listen, stop it. We saw what King did to Florida State. 52-10. Come on, King beat him by 42 points, bro.
That was a horrible Florida State team.
And what Florida State team are we seeing right now? Are they not horrible?
I don't know. I don't know what to say about last week, but Florida State ain't that bad. They ain't that bad, man. They're not that bad.
If you don't put Garcia at quarterback, you're not winning the Coastal.
But if they do put Garcia back there, I don't trust their O-line to block.
Miami ain't ever going to the Coastal again anyway. What's the difference?
Oh, damn.
Damn.
You could bring Vinny Testaverde, Bernie Kosar, Ken Dorsey back. Miami ain't never going back to the Coastal. Never.
Oh, shit. Damn, this a Hurricane fan saying this?
No. I stopped betting Miami years ago.
Oh, okay. That was the dude on earlier. Okay.
What year did you stop being a Hurricane fan, El Guapo?
Probably that Peach Bowl game did it for me. Was that 04?
What, against LSU?
Yeah,
what hurricane happened around 04? Did we have a hurricane around that time?
Yeah, it was called that Peach Bowl. That's what that hurricane was.
The hurricane washed El Guapo out of Miami.
Hey. Yeah, that's when Miami went down though in 04 after that.
Hey, Darnell Colton said, Ken Dorsey for head coach. He want Ken Dorsey as head coach. Damn.
I'm hearing that a lot.
Okay.
I mean, Ken Dorsey's not a bad choice. He does have some experience coaching, so.
Oh yeah, he do. Where he at?
I don't know where he at right now, but I know he do have.
I know he coached in the pros. He coached in the pros, didn't he?
Yeah.
When the quarterback coach for the Niners?
Cam Newton's quarterback coach.
Okay.
He didn't call plays.
You said Katrina hit in 2005. Yeah, Katrina took El Guapo
Yeah,
away from us.
Katrina was 05, 06, yeah.
Yeah.
El Guapo ain't never coming back. I'm good.
Well, he's a smart man.
El
They
Guapo,
signed that Achilles deal.
El Guapo, you should put in the
Beat his
application to
jersey.
become a Florida State fan.
You come on, join that orange and blue.
No, I'm good.
All right,
Still got some orange.
Hold on, time out. Since you broke down Miami, break down Florida. I want to hear this. This should be fun.
Right down Florida. What?
Break down Florida. What you been seeing from Florida?
Well, at least they hired, somewhat of a good coach, Dan Mullen. It starts there. Like I said, it all starts with that administration. Does that administration want that football program to succeed or not? And we all knew when they took Manny, they told the whole fan base they didn't want to succeed. What's Manny say? The new Miami? Yeah, the new Miami is called being mediocre. That's the new Miami.
He right now.
Damn.
I told
You
you
right.
to break down Florida. He went right back to Miami.
Because Florida have made a good hire with Dan Mullen.
Well, Florida's in the SEC. They haven't been. Florida hasn't been. Well, they did go to the SEC championship game last year. Miami ain't went to the ACC championship game since the pastor was here and got blown out. Was at 38-3, I think. So, I don't know. Florida as a program is better than Miami. Last time they played, they beat Miami. I don't know what you want me to compare. Florida is
There
a
ain't
better
nothing to
program than
compare.
Miami right now.
Yeah.
If Miami was an SEC, they'd be down there by Vanderbilt.
Y'all would.
Damn.
They would because they coaching.
They'd be a step above
It's because the
Vanderbilt.
coaching.
Arkansas,
Hey,
would
man,
run
y'all
through
hitting
them.
below the belt, man. That's
Alabama
hitting
would
below
run
the belt,
through them.
man.
Tennessee would probably beat them.
That's
maybe
true though,
not.
Sarge.
Ole Miss would run through
I'm not
them.
going to say all that, man.
Georgia
But
would put
Sarge,
out 50
they
on them.
would because who he's gonna out coach?
I'm not going to
Nobody.
compare them to Vandy, though. God damn. man.
But Sarge,
They a step
so
up to Vanderbilt.
is Manny a better coach than Mark Stoops?
It's only Manny's third year, so I don't know.
But that's what I'm. Yes,
I
you
don't
do,
think-
Sarge.
I
You
don't
do
think
know
Miami-
that.
I don't think Miami would beat Kentucky in Kentucky. I don't
They
think
wouldn't.
Nope. Not unless
They wouldn't.
Nope.
Hey,
Nope.
teacher, why they hitting below the belt, man?
Man, that's the truth. It's not.
I'm
It
just telling
sounds
you
like
the
it.
truth. I'm not hating. I'm just telling you the truth.
That's just
not
the
a good
truth.
program. I'm sorry.
Hey,
I don't have green.
they have
and
their
green.
opinions.
I'm sorry.
They got their opinions. I ain't got no. I can't
I don't
defend
hate
Manny.
I say this:
Manny has
If Mark
better
Stoops-
opinions.
if Mark Stoops was at Miami right now, Miami would not be like they are.
I don't know about that.
With Manny
They would.
Diaz, whatever he's saying, I can't defend Manny Diaz. I'm sorry.
All you got to do is look at Miami for the last 7 years, and then the year when the pastor was here and Miami beat Notre Dame.
Who the fuck is the
Virginia
pastor?
Tech on ABC.
He talking about Mark
That was
Richt.
fake win.
Oh shit!
All Fugazi, because what happened?
He called Mark Richt the pastor.
Miami got beat that last game of the year at Pitt, and then they went to the bowl game against Wisconsin, got bent over. Come on, it's fake. ACC's garbage. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing.
Damn.
Can he be Wisconsin? A bunch of dairy
Shots
boys out
fired.
there. They sorry, man. I'm sorry. They're horrible.
You're right though. You're right.
How much money did you lose on Miami, El Guapo?
Oh, the Ohio State game?
No.
When they got robbed?
Damn.
Since you've been a Miami fan, how much money have you lost? You
I
sound like you
only
lost
bet
a
on the
lot of
Ohio State
money.
game. I only bet on the Ohio State game.
Oh.
Game.
I'm about to say after 04, he probably lost a lot.
I didn't bet with him after 04. I didn't touch him.
I know you didn't.
I didn't touch him when Shannon was there. I didn't
Because El
touch him
Guapo
when
sound like he mad at
Holt was
Miami. It
there.
sound like he put his whole 401k in it.
Yeah, man.
No.
Tell us why you mad, man. Tell us why you mad.
They just garbage. They barely beat an Appalachian State team. Come on, let's get real.
But see, I told C2Y before the season started, I was like, if y'all lose to Bama, the App State game is going to be a freaking fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
won
told
that
my-
fight.
Well, App
Years
State
ago.
isn't a terrible team. At least compared to, say, a team like, I don't know, FIU. Oh, wait. Sorry.
They beat y'all.
When the last time Miami won a bowl game? With that Brad Kai was here? Come on.
That was a good team. I just didn't have the defense.
It's always something with Miami. It's always
Yeah,
something.
that was Brad Kite. That was a good team. I was scoring.
Yeah, Brad Kai. Everybody thought he was so good. He was a damn statue.
All right, y'all get off now. So basically, Alabama versus Florida. What do you think you got to do offensively to get ahead of them?
Well, first thing we gotta be able to run the ball some. And
who's your running back? Will be decent.
I mean, we got 4, but it's not like a main person. We like rotate, so it all depends who get the hot hand.
What have you running
Pierce
back
gonna
with?
start. Pierce starts, but everybody play though. That's the thing.
So no faith in the running back.
No, I ain't gonna say we don't have no faith. We lead the FBS in rushing. 300 and some yards of rushing a game.
But that's against USF.
Yeah, you're right. I get that. But I'm just saying that's what we doing. That's what we've been doing, running. So and then we got at least hit the passing plays, the big shots when we have them. We got to do that. And we don't do that.
Who you guys got a tight end to replace Pitts?
Oh no, we ain't got nobody of Pitts caliber. Our tight ends really they haven't even featured them really.
So you don't.
Zipper is good.
And your running backs,
We got tight ends that got ability, but they not no Pitts.
So you couldn't be Alabama with Pitts.
We could have. Our defense let us down last year. That was the thing with us.
They gave up way too many points, man.
Nobody thought our defense would play the way they played.
Who replaced Marco Wilson?
Elam. Elam was our best corner last year.
Okay. He ain't got no fetish with shoes, do he?
Hell no. He got a fetish with locking bitches up. He got that.
Hey, speaking of that, Marco Wilson been balling in the pros.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to say in the pros, he's good. That's why we so mad, because we know Marco got the ability, but I don't know what the fuck he was doing last year. I don't know what that was.
Balling. I got to get to him. I mean, everybody made fun of him.
They did.
Motivation. He been balling his ass.
He starred for Arizona. He starred.
Yeah.
But I don't know what Marco was good as a true freshman. He was better than CJ. But I don't know what the fuck happened the last 2 years after that ACL. I don't know what Marco been on. But like he got it together in the pros.
Yeah, he definitely got it together.
Yeah, the funny thing about that, he didn't even make the play. Why the fuck you throwing a damn shoe? You made a play all year. You throwing a shoe.
Hey, listen, if he would have came back this year, I would have said start him at quarterback.
Hell no, that bitch can't throw, man. It'd have been like King.
Come on, did you see the velocity? Did you see the velocity on that shoe?
Yeah, that's probably the best play he made all last year. That was the best play he made. Throw a shoe. Because other than that, I don't know what he was doing.
I would put money on it that he could throw that shoe 30, 60 down the field.
Yeah, he got a stronger arm than King.
That's messed up, bro.
Damn.
He got a stronger arm than King. He does.
Oh, man.
But I don't know. I think the crowd is going to be one. As long as we keep the crowd in it, I think we got a chance.
Who you think
it's sold out.
Who you think the difference maker is going to be on offense and defense?
The difference maker got to be Zach Carter on the D line, and on offense, got to be one of the quarterbacks.
Now let's just say hypothetically they do beat y'all by 30. How far does that set you guys back in the SEC?
I don't think that much. It all depends on the quarterback play. If they beat us by 30, that means our quarterback play like hot garbage.
So if they beat y'all by 30, how much you think Georgia gonna beat y'all by?
Well, you can't compare that because we know Bama can score. We seen Georgia light up UAB, but they didn't light up Clemson, so we can't go.
That's the
We can't
mailman.
judge
Y'all
Oh
keep
that.
my
sleeping.
goodness, UAB.
Hey,
We
keep
can't judge
sleeping on the
that.
mailman.
So you think
Who,
Florida's on the
Stetson
same level? You think Florida's on the same level as Clemson?
I can't. I won't go that far.
See, people laughing at Stetson Bennett, but Stetson Bennett put up what 28 against the Gumps.
That no, that was he put up
If Stetson
24.
Bennett gets on the field first against Alabama, every single pass he throws is going to get batted down at the line.
Exactly. I mean, that was
in the
last.
second half. That was in the second. That wasn't in the first half.
Yeah, that's what we said though. But the second half, what did he do?
Hey man,
He
threw
looked
two
like a
interceptions.
walk-on, right? He
Yeah,
looked like a
he threw two
walk-on.
interceptions. Yeah, he threw two interceptions. Our defense got tired, but people forget that first half though.
No, I don't.
So
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Bama's defense is all that, man. If Stetson can come out there and put up 24.
But see, last year they wasn't. But this year their defense is way better. This is probably their best defense they had in a while.
So which assistant?
Well, front seven wise. I don't know about the whole defense because there is holes in their secondary.
Yeah.
So which assistant do you think gonna beat Nick Saban first?
I say Jimbo
Yeah, Jimbo.
because his mentality is different.
Lane Kiffin's getting really close too.
Kiffin could if he ever get a defense at Ole Miss.
That's the problem. They ain't never gonna have
That's why I don't see it.
This year, Ole Miss could upset Alabama.
It is. It's improved.
Yeah,
They looked better.
Yeah, but that was against Louisville, though. I don't know.
You're right. That's why you can't put too much into it.
Yeah, Jimbo.
They look better.
Montre, he's a Florida State fan. He says Jimbo all day. Now Florida State.
I mean, I don't know the way Texas A&M played against Colorado. I'm not so sure.
I think Florida State should have threw the whole bag at Jimbo to keep him.
He wasn't gonna stay there.
Y'all gotta learn to protect your head coach, man. You can't have your players smashing their wives, bro.
Yeah, once you do that, just like LeBron and Delonte West, once that happen, man, it's over with, bro.
Who was that Florida State fan? That Florida State football player that smashed Jimbo's wife? Anybody know?
It's probably more than one, bro. It's probably more than one.
Damn.
That's probably been going on for years. He just now forgot. You know what I'm saying? Heard about it, but it's probably been going on for years, man.
Let me ask you this too. We see the rate that Dan Mullen and his wife is going with the football team. Which one of them players on the Florida Gators football team think gonna smash make it on the field? So we know it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. But who's gonna be that first guy to plunge in?
I mean, it might have happened already. We just don't know, man.
That's tough. DB might have some inside.
Guess we'll find out.
DB might know more than we do. Who's going to be the first Florida player that smashed Jimbo's wife? Not Jimbo. Dan Mullen.
Bro, it's probably done happened already, bro.
Because I was thinking last year it probably was, I was thinking last year it probably was going to be Cox.
It's probably been multiple, man. He just either he don't care or he hasn't found out yet. But it's probably been multiple. Same thing with Jimbo. Once Jimbo found out, he left, but it was probably like 8 or 9 before that.
He said it was a UF player that smashed Candy. That's her name, Candy?
Candy? Oh, my goodness.
Was her name Candy?
Darnell Talton said Taylor Jacobs was that Florida player smashing Jimbo's wife. Oh, okay.
So it was Taylor Jacobs that smashing Jimbo's wife. Darnell in the chat.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't even on the same. So he could have stayed at Florida State then. He just had to worry about the Gators players.
That's tough.
Damn. So you only had to worry about
If you got lizards smashing, then what you think the nose is doing? They probably pass it
Hold on,
around
time
every
out.
2-3 days.
Let me see what this Jacob guy looks like.
Jacobs was probably the only one he found out about. They probably been doing that for years, man.
Let me see what this guy, Taylor Jacob. Let me see what he looks
First of
like.
all, her name's Candy. That's already a red flag.
Jacob's probably like, tastes like candy.
I know a Candy that works at a racetrack, bro, and she is amazing.
There's
Amazing.
no way.
Oh, snap. So she was letting this ludicrous looking guy. That's tough. Oh, they even got it all up. Oh, come on.
Whoa.
Come on, Taylor. That's your taste?
I'm telling you, he the scapegoat, but it's probably been like 9 or 10 before that, bro.
Time
He
out.
can do better than that.
Damn, ludicrous. That's what you like? Wow.
Hey, man, anything can happen after 2:30 a.m., bro.
Wow. Hold on. Let me. Wow.
But yeah, he just took the fall, man. He probably got her number from 4 or 5 other people that was doing it, bro.
That's tough. That's tough. All right, that's dang. That's how they do it in Florida. Them gators, boy, they'll eat anything they see.
I'm glad I don't live in Florida.
That's tough. Let's see what ESPN got to say. Alabama, Florida. They started this off by talking about Georgia. All right, Alabama's 26-23 comeback over Georgia in 2017 national championship game was historic for a number of reasons. Listen, we don't care nothing about that. I know AR don't care nothing about that.
Nah, man, it's in the past. You know, things happen.
Okay, so I'm trying to see. Kyle Trask is gone. I don't know what they talking about. There's Tony gone. Kyle Pitts gone. Tony and Pitts all gone, of course, but it feels like the Gators still have a better chance of outscoring the Tide.
Hey, T2, I'm gonna step out, man. I'm starving.
All right, man.
All right, bro.
So according to ESPN,
Yeah, I'm going to step out too, T2.
All right, boss, take it easy.
All right, you too, buddy.
So ESPN is thinking without Kyle Trask and Pitts and Tony that Florida might have a better chance of outscoring the Tide. I told y'all, boy, y'all got to watch ESPN sometime. I think they be snorting lines. At some point, someone confused Bryce Young, so I guess they saying that Florida has the best chance of beating Alabama. But take it from me, don't listen to ESPN. They obviously trying to get the Alabama fans riled up. They're doing a good job too. We ain't gonna read that nonsense. We know. They say Jimbo left her ass in Trailer Hassey. That's tough, man. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take my daughter to go get some lunch. So, it's been a good show. Appreciate everybody for coming through, hitting that like button. Appreciate everybody that was on the show today. Sergeant AR10, BB the Gator, CJ Kings 87, Totally Not Depressed, and even El Guapo, the former Miami Hurricane fan. That's tough. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Miami versus Michigan State. We'll see how that goes, and we'll talk about it during the week. But, at the end of the day, Still great to be a Miami Hurricane. Let's hope Manny Diaz and them Kings get it done against Michigan State so we can stop all the naysayers and haters. If not, we can still continue to listen to the who should replace Manny Diaz story. That's tough. Now, y'all have a good day.